after a significant sojourn across the Sword Coast, and indeed a significant break away from the profession of adventuring to engage in other pursuits. Two among us have spent some time in Undermountain during the year off. Adrastia, as you're probably aware, has already established some contacts with people in Skullport, which can be found by following this river. It's not actually that long a journey. Um, After all, both Undermountain and Skullport lie directly beneath Waterdeep, so the distance that separates the two is quite small. Um, but in addition to Adrastia finding out much about the Drow activities and the influx of Duergar, the Dark Dwarves, into the region, not to mention the countless numbers of bugbears and goblins that are still left over from the the death of the Xanathar Guild. In addition to that, Aldrich has also spent no insignificant amount of time down here. He probably hasn't been wandering around adventuring very much. However, given his connections to the Temple of Leviatar, and given that the Temple of Leviatar is within Undermountain on the first level, it's no surprise when you consider it like that Aldrich has got some experience down here as well. In any case, now we are on the Sargouth River. We've grabbed a bunch of rafts, which incidentally are made of a kind of mushroom fibre rather than any sort of wood. They're underdark wood, such as it is. And it's remarkably buoyant. We're floating now along the relatively clear and not pristine, but by the look of it, at least drinkable water of the Sargouth, with its blind fish and its pale crabs and yabbies, and this area is very much alive. The river carries us along at a fairly slow pace. It's not a rushing, turbulent river, and yet you're still managing to get it to do a couple of knots. So hang tight and decide whether or not you want to simply maintain your course straight for Skullport, which Adrastia assures you is not too far away at all, or if you want to do a little bit more exploration while you're here on the many side caverns and whatever other obstacles you might come across.
Oh, I'm having a lot of fun riding in a raft, I think. So I'll be spending my time just looking around and trying to control the raft as best as I can with my 10-foot pole.
Excellent. You surf down the gentle stream, and life is teeming all around you.
As a reef shark, I'm going to sample some of the yabbies and crabs and fish.
Fresh and crisp. The water here is cool and quite clean.
This is a random thought. If you eat something while you're polymorphed that's poisonous to humans, and then return to your original form, are you fine or are you poisoned now?
It depends on your DM.
I can polymorph you and we can find out what Arctic's like if you want.
Indeed. Since we're playing 5e, it'll be gentle. Let's play a different edition.
How deep's the river?
So how deep? It varies, but it's never more than about 10 feet deep. And often much shallower, as much as 4 feet. You'd be able to wade along in some sectors.
It's just faster to drift.
Yeah. It'll take you out to the sea caves of Waterdeep if you follow it. Well, it won't, because there are locks and dams at Skullport which would prevent that. But if it hadn't been dammed, then and potentially, if you're a little leaf. Anyway, the point is, it leads to the sea underneath Waterdeep. So the reef shark is skimming around, able to maintain the sort of pace that it wants to. Make an investigation roll, Sanj.
Oh boy, this would be good. Let me just find it. What is that? Okay.
Also,
If this
Arctic,
is
are you-
relevant, I'm also in the water and I've got the cloak of the manta ray on, so I'm
Oh,
just
you do?
in the human form.
Right, you can make an investigation roll as well.
Also, Arctic, are you just going to control us as we go down the river? Because we can't really move as a group otherwise.
Yeah, good call. So I will do that, and you can just tell me the sort of pace. I assume it's a gentle pace. There are a handful of copper coins in here. Certainly a number of bones and river stones. But unless you're in the business of collecting pebbles for your slings, there's probably little of value.
Great way to start the session.
Get that out of the way.
Hey, reef sharks have an intelligence 1. So I am just, feeding and swimming along gently.
Oh, really? So you take on its intellect, do you?
Yeah,
polymorph.
because I'm not a druid, so I take on all of the mental stat, every stat, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. How far can you guys see up ahead? Not particularly far. Or our Drastia at least can.
I
So
can see what looks like some sort of something in the river. Looks like it's made out
yeah.
of wood, maybe.
Yeah, it might be. It seems to be a vessel, a small boat, or I say small, but it's considerably larger than your raft. Bigger than a rowboat, smaller than a longboat. You can see a ferry, a black gondola up ahead.
Are
Is
you
it
kidding
coming
me?
this way?
No, it appears to be docked.
Make sure to point this out that there's a vessel up ahead that is stationary.
Is it full of people?
I can't tell from this distance. It doesn't
Well,
appear to be.
let's stay a bit quiet as we approach it. Maybe we can get a better look.
Okay, yes. Make stealth rolls if you wish to, breathe quietly as the water laps against the edge of your Zerk wood raft. The fish, the men of Ray and the shark are fine. It's, you're as stealthy as can be, I imagine. Ariak stops breathing altogether. All right. So, Aldrich, what is it about you that is so loud as you gently float down the river?
I'm gonna say that as I attempt to pray to Leviatar, I kind of slip a little. Plate mail starts making clanking noise as I try to regain my footing.
Noise. Yes, plates of metal slapping together is quite distinct. It couldn't be two rocks. It couldn't be bones. So anyone who is familiar with battlefield combat would probably recognise the clink of plate as it echoes through this watery chamber. The boat doesn't respond. It doesn't turn nor set forth or anything. However, you do note that there is a ferryman in the rear of this gondola. They are standing quite tall. They are cloaked in black, much like the vessel is black. They have a pole which is currently placed within the water, but their back is to you.
Interesting. So I'll make sure to relay that as we approach and drift towards them.
The party remains quiet, save for Aldrich at least. But as it begins to drift by this ferry, silently, just caught up on the current, possibly pushing away a little away from the ferry if possible, the pace begins to pick up quite dramatically. The river narrows and then deepens, and it looks like you're about to hit a set of rapids. But shortly before you do, the ferryman begins to turn towards you. You spot the glow of their eyes first, a bright red, and then you see that it reflects off a face that has no skin, a skull. And this skull has a pair of horns that peer out from beyond the hood of the cloak. And this skeleton, this horned humanoid skeleton, turns towards the party and watches you.
I sort of daintily wave back and smile.
Yeah, if it doesn't take any hostile action, I'm not gonna attack it.
I just love that there's a ferryman on this river.
Undead ferryman too, by the looks of it.
This is literally the river. This is the ferryman from the River Styx.
Sandra, roll a d6. Alright, there are a lot of bones here in the water. And you're able to fight the current with ease. It really doesn't affect you. But it's going to affect the boat as it passes. You can already see it picking up momentum. There are a lot of bones here on the ground. Those bones are beginning to stir.
Okay. Just FYI as well, Arctic. I've got as a reef shark. I didn't realize I have blind sight out to 30 feet.
Excellent.
So if that's relevant at all, yeah. So the bones are stirring. Okay. With my intelligence of 1, I keep swimming.
Alright. Excellent work. You would notice it next, Lucius, as you can see it doesn't really bother Sanj, and but as the riders pick up the speed, they're all watching the ferryman. Not surprisingly, they're trying to pay a little bit of attention, perhaps to the rapids, but for now their attention is focused elsewhere. You see that the bones on the bottom of the water are beginning to stir, including great horned skulls that look like buffalo.
I'm going to cast message up to Zevram. Skeletons, some kind, below the raft. And then I'm going to, observe Sanjay's behavior, reminding myself I really need to limit what he transforms himself into. This is really not a healthy habit for him.
I just loudly exclaim, "Skeletons!" And I look down, I sort of go to my knees and try and look over the edge of the water.
Make a perception check. You're about to hit the rapids. All right. You don't really spot anything in the stirring of the white water, and the party suddenly discovers that while Zirkwood boats do float, they aren't particularly good at navigating hazards. Everyone make a dexterity saving throw as you try to hang on to a vessel that's far too small for 4 people traveling through rough white water like this. Doing so well so far.
I'll watch the cat be the one that fails it.
I think Mark's currently AFK.
No worries. They begin to sail down riding this place. The cat and probably somewhere between filled with glee and hating every step of the way from the water. But as you ride down this sudden drop, this 8-foot drop, a lurch, more like a kind of like a small waterfall, the bones all around you begin to stir. The ferryman watches on silently, nonchalantly, but 4 skeletons, giant skeletons, or at least very large skeletons, 8-9 feet tall, rise from the bottom of the water, and massive horns on their heads. They seek to tip the boat and get you to join in to their watery grave.
So, do they seem like they're going for the boat and paying no attention to me and Sanj, or?
Yeah, the boat.
Is there a way to pull out the reef shark's stat block so that I can roll from it?
Absolutely.
Just
I'll
not
make you
100%
up
sure
a
how to
reef
do it.
shark now. Hurts and effects. Character. Reef shark.
Well, my hope with minotaurs, skeletons underwater is that they can't charge us, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. It's an unusual choice for a monster. Like,
What if they're merminotaurs?
could be.
Right? If it was me making this encounter, it'd just be octopuses everywhere.
It's a good idea. I've got a shark to
Could
put.
have said anything.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
No, yeah, no dramas. No worries.
Alright. Sanj. I'll make it up as a token. It shouldn't take too long.
So, to save time during the games, I think what we should do is just drag the entire monster manual into the game, because that completely won't lag everything out.
Yeah, like Dungeon of the Mad Mage uses a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have everything made up. It's gonna be annoying. Like Roll20 is just like, yeah. Anyway. Okay, so that's the shark.
Oh, whoops.
There's the bar. There's the aura. There's the changes that have been saved.
So
And
that was
use
here,
the token. Yep. All right, should work from now on.
Great. Thanks, mate.
No worries. All right. Okay. So the Minotaur skeletons rise from their watery graves, and somehow, through the power of necromancy, swim deftly through this turbulent and rather deep water, where the rapids end. It drops off into a fairly deep gully. The 2 skeletons swim up from beneath. The ones that are close. Oh, a third one can make it. Although this one will have to wait. 3 of them rise and attempt to tip over the boat, the vessel, and send you flying into the water. I wonder how I do that. I might just do a gore on it and try to destroy the boat. I'll take that off GM layer. One Minotaur drives its horns into the boat from beneath and begins to shred it. A second is less successful, and as is the third. So the boat is being ripped to pieces as the Minotaurs drive their massive horns up through it, and those spikes are popping up in between where each of you are sitting, like daggers being driven through a board. The Minotaurs clutch within their hands great axes, but for now they are merely trying to drown you, Adrastia.
Oh dear. If they're underneath us in the water, I can't imagine I have a very good shot.
No, you do not. The shore beside you is rocky and steep, like a kind of escarpment. But no, you're right. No, you do not have a good shot at all. You'd be at disadvantage to hit them.
Bloody things. Well, might as well try.
Excellent.
It's not like we have much choice at this point. Here's a question: if I'm shooting magical fire arrows at them, does the fire get snuffed out by the water?
Potentially, yes. The short answer, like fire descriptor spells don't work underwater. So, short answer is yes. Or I think they do work, but you have advantage, or they do half damage or something. They're less effective.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay then. So let's see. I guess I'll go for the Minotaur skeleton that's closest to the shore in the direction that we're headed.
Yep, I understand. It's an excellent blow, save for the disadvantage.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought it cancelled out because it's in the whole darkness thing.
Oh right, are you in? Are we in invisible? Is there no light sources?
As far as I understand it, right? There's no light sources.
Do you need light? No, Eldritch doesn't need light. No.
I think Kaisia is the only one that requires light.
Excellent. So yeah, you're right. They would cancel out.
Right. So and then the dread ambusher thing as well, and because it's a crit. So in total, that's let's see, it's 22, I think. Is that right?
It is.
The math.
Your bolt fires down from above and lodges itself in the thick skull of the Minotaur, but it only causes a relatively thin crack in this bony forehead.
Right. 12 on that one.
Deliverance. The skull begins to split and splinter, but the skeleton is still attempting to rip the boat apart.
Let's hope this one finishes it. Nah, I don't think so.
Will not.
I didn't roll damage for the fire arrows because I figured it'd be negated by the water.
It's halved.
Oh well, I'll go ahead and do that then.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 d6.
1, 1, and 2 for an extra 4. Alright, Shark. So these skeletons unless it's still your go, Adrastia?
I can't think of anything else I'm gonna do. So
No
I'll just,
worries.
be like, oh shit, and try and keep my footing.
Bones are rising from their graves, Shark. They're not very tasty. They're quite crunchy. But do you care that they are threatening your companions?
I think out of instinct more so than thought.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take a curious bite on this fellow right here,
Excellent.
as a shark
Curious.
does. For a 9.
Its lack of flesh is not very appetizing.
Okay, swim.
Zevran, these things are attacking from below the waterline, making missile weapons particularly ineffective against them. But entering into the water with them has its own challenges as well.
Would I be able to hit them with a sword attack from where I am?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is cast Dissonant Whispers on the one in front of me here.
Yeah.
I will do so at 3rd level. Okay. And then as soon as it starts moving away from me with its reaction, I will use my opportunity attack on it to cast Booming Blade.
Okie dokie.
I think that needs to be higher. Oh no, I think that's right. So it takes 1d8 extra damage and then another 2d8 because it's running away. So for a total of 13, 18, 28.
The bones shatter and splinter, but the entire cave rumbles slightly. All the small fish and crabs flee, several bats take to wing and fly in all directions, and you see dozens of spiders retreating up to higher ground. The noise reverberates throughout the cavern, but the skeleton is nothing but shards of bone.
Let's not stick around to see what I woke up.
All right, Aldrich.
I'm going to grasp my symbol and I'm going to smash it in my face. And I will say, feel the wrath of Leviathar's whip, you undead fiends, and do turn undead. Which is a C7.
Alright, are 2 of them caught in it or are all 3?
Just 2 of them, because the other one's 40.
No worries. They find your presence unbearable. It's not so much that they are terrified, but they submit to your will.
And if I think they are, or if they're below challenge 1, they're destroyed.
Let's find out. They are not. Alright. So, alright, must spend its turns moving away, so it doesn't have to do anything until its turn. No problem. Lucius.
Do they lose their reaction while they're feared by that as well?
That doesn't say it, does it?
It
It
also
does.
can't take reactions.
There we go.
I'm going to 30. Yeah, I'll swim ahead to here. And yeah, I don't want to pull out any of my big guns yet. They're fine. Most of my attack spells are fire, so I didn't quite think through the whole jumping into the river thing. I will just take the dodge action for now.
Alright. The Minotaurs flee. They flee down to the bottom of the water. And this one flees up the rapids as best it can. It's quite strong, so it would be able to. So those of you who wish to can take attacks of opportunities. Whether you're pursuing the one that dives to the bottom of the sea or river, or the one that is fleeing past the ferryman.
I already took my reaction, so I can't.
I don't have a melee weapon equipped.
All right. The skeletons are free. Unless Aldrich wants to strike.
Could I strike any of them, or are they far from me?
There is one that's underneath the boat, and it's kind of launches itself up the rapids, so you'd be able to stab it in the back or the vertebrae as it tries to flee away, but it's uninjured, so well, that's a pretty devastating blow. Okay. Its bones rot before our very eyes. But they flee as fast as they possibly can. Well, this one goes just to the bottom. And one, however, still has some control over its own will. And it swims deftly through the water to a range of 40 feet. And since Ariok is at the front, it is he who bears the brunt of its fury. And it rises out of the water in defiance of gravity. Is Ariok dead?
Nah, he said that he had to go. He's got too much trouble tonight.
Oh, he's not. He's gone for the night, has he?
Yeah, 'cause that's what it looks like.
There
All
are a lot
right.
of brownouts apparently at the base.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't think I caught any of that. I'll redirect that. I'll make a new roll against Sevram.
Goddamn.
But it's a feeble blow that merely slaps the water. Adrastia, at the corner of your eye, you see some shadows approaching from somewhere within the shore. You would also no doubt oh, no, at this range maybe you can't see much about. Hasn't picked the wrong person. You would also no doubt see spider's web choking some of the passages up there.
I do. I can see what looks like some sort of grey humanoid.
Yeah, a statue of sorts. The statue is in a dynamic pose with their shield raised.
Interesting. I don't have time to think about that right now. There's a big skelly in our way that needs
Good
to not
point.
be in our way. Alright, so is this one also below the water?
It's not. It's trying to make Zebra meet its axe.
It's gonna meet my crossbow then.
Makes for an easy target. Point blank range, if such thing can be said to be easy. 10 feet away. It's a hit in any case. Though a middling one, crossbow bolts are not the best weapons for shattering bone after all.
Hey, redeemed by that damage roll on the fire arrow.
Yeah, good call. And you illuminate the cavern with brief streaks of light every time you fire your fire arrow. And the thunder wave stops reverberating.
There's nothing else I can really do. So that's it.
Alright, there is a shark beside you. Baby shark, do. What do you do?
Lazily kind of swinging past. I'm going to take a snap at the one that's tried to introduce Sevram to its axe.
It seems to largely ignore you as you gnaw upon its leg.
I think this is an advantage because the reef shark has pack tactics.
Uh-huh.
So a 15?
Yeah. Breaks through its tibia. There's a shattering sound from beneath the water, and shards of bone float along the surface.
And then, disinterested in the lack of meat, keep swimming.
Alright. point. The Minotaur skeleton doesn't even bother use its reaction to harass you. It's here to kill humans.
Right, and its turn. Yeah.
Even though I moved to your turn, before you take your turn, Zevram, I'm not sure if anyone sees this, so, like, if you see it, you see it. Otherwise, you don't see it.
I can see entities up ahead. Oh wait, I see it.
You
I
see it? Alright, it's pretty clear to you what it is, because you, of all people, should know. The thing is larger than a horse. Its great black and purple body, centaur-like in the way the lower half is a massive tarantula and the higher half the twisted form of a male drow. It's watching your party initially with curiosity, but it makes eye contact with you, Adrastia, and it immediately bows.
Wow. I just stare back at it, like meeting its gaze so that it knows that I've noticed it.
Zevram, Adrastia is looking steely off into the distance, but, well, not for the first time are you reminded that you're not a full drow.
Well, I can't see what she's looking at, so because I'm only half effective with my dark vision.
That's what I mean. That was my little diss.
So I'm going to concentrate on the battle ahead of us here, and I'm going to attempt to dissonant whispers again on this closest one.
Awesome. It's the only one that remains a threat.
I will cast it again at 3rd level.
Okay. It is not the wisest of skeletons. He does not brush his teeth. And
again, as it moves away, I'll use my opportunity attack to booming blade it.
The booming blade! Just as the echo of your last thunderous smite begins to slow down, it's filled with another one. And any ideas that people might have had that was a natural occurrence are probably soon put to rest. In any case, it is 18 plus 13, 21?
Sorry, I thought the
31.
attack roll was part of it. I do need to make an attack with it.
Yeah, I thought there was an attack roll, but when it didn't come up, I was like, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
So it's even more damage, actually.
Bam, bam.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you're missing a lot of damage there, but it also requires an attack roll. Because the reason Booming Blade is so great is because it also includes the damage from the sword
As well, yeah.
I should set it up differently. Yeah, I've only got like the standalone damage, but I'll just remember to roll an attack each time.
The skeleton is all but shattered. It's beginning to fall apart before our very eyes. And yet it still has a malevolent glow within its eye sockets. Eldritch Gale.
I cast Toll the Dead.
Oh, the dead! He's already dead. That's the irony here. The other irony is that the Thunderwave is now drowned out by the sound of ringing bells. She's saying, Catherine, there are skeletons fleeing from our holy presence.
So I'm just thinking to myself, I'm under the water and I haven't done anything specifically yet. I'm going to stay that way and keep hiding because I might need to intervene shortly because we had drow chasing after us. And since then, I've seen flashes of light coming from flaming arrows. There's been not one, but two crackling booms of thunder. And now there's a loud tolling of bells. I'm going to leave the undead to them because I think we've got a drow problem coming up.
It's a party in here. The skeletons continue to flee for their existence, pitiful though it is. The boat probably floats a little bit further south too, by nature of physics. Flee! Alright, Adrastia. There are skeletons that are absolutely terrified of us, and they aren't posing much of a problem, but we're still riding a relatively rough journey on this through this whitewater trip with our now largely destroyed fungus raft. It'll only be a matter of time before this sinks, and that time is probably moments rather than minutes.
Well, as the skeletons flee, I'm like, time is almost standing still for me as I'm giving this thing that I'm looking at my 100% of my attention. So I'm not even.
Its eyes are diverted, mistress. Just don't. Its eyes are diverted. Please, show mercy.
Yeah, I don't stop staring at it until we pass by the wall that blocks line of sight.
Nice, and you're like right at the edge of it. That's a nice coincidence.
Alright, yeah. Keep swimming down the river. I like lazily kind of bump Lucius on the way through. And yeah, that'll be turn.
Yeah. No worries. Just do a quick scan of something of no particular import to anyone. And the Drider begins to emerge. It still may not come into view for perhaps most of you. Again, just a sheer coincidence that Adrastia can see it. Although Aldrich, you do catch a glimpse of this hulking husk of a black widow spider attached to the a humanoid body welded on the top. That's meant to be a 12, by the way. The driver is quite clearly subservient. It has a long bow, a long sword, and more than a little concerned, but it's trying not to show it for now. So it looks like it's ready to run away, but at the moment it's not showing any signs of hostility for those few who can see it. Zevram, you know that Aldrich and Adrastia are looking at something, but you can't see what it is.
I'm just still a little bit on edge, so I'm just going to take the dodge action.
You're going past a room that you do see some things, however. There are statues within this room. Statues of people in very realistic poses. They've deteriorated over time to some degree, but there are wizards with staves and warriors with swords and clerics holding up their holy symbols. It's all quite artistic.
Well, the last time we saw statues like this, a certain kobold decided to poke Halaster and got petrified, so
Bad
I'm
times.
very on edge.
Or are they good times? I'm not sure. Alright, Aldrich, Zevram is taking it cautiously. What about you?
Yeah, never mind. I was going to say, if I noticed Aldrich looking at it, but I just said before that I am giving this thing all my attention, so if he's also looking at it, I would notice.
You could go.
I'm gonna have a flashback for a second of being held in drow camp, and then I'm gonna kind of shake my head a bit, then look to Zevran. Notice that he's wounded, and pet him gently and heal him for 10 damage.
Leviatha is a loving goddess.
Does it sting a little when you pat me?
Oh, it stings so good, like gonorrhea.
Fuck.
Not going to read
you-
into that statement.
You shouldn't.
5 health, was it?
10.
Oh yeah, 69.
You're not. You are? You really are?
Oh yeah.
How appropriate. Alright. Lucius M. Catherine. Oh, hang on. We have a visitor. Give me a moment. I'll be back shortly.
No worries.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola.
So how is everyone enjoying fighting on a 2x2 square?
Yeah.
I think I'm-
surprisingly, that
I-
wasn't. I'm just saying, surprisingly, that wasn't such a bad time.
I'm gonna be pretty fucked if I fall in
Yet.
the water.
Oh yeah, it sink like a rock.
That could have been bad if that tried had decided to join in.
I mean, take into account we are probably like 2 levels above what we should be when we're here.
Yeah, but Arctic's not the kind of DM to just play it by the book. He'd obviously modify it so it's still fun for the party. I feel like there'll probably be more of particular things if we do get into large combats on this level. I mean, it'll still be easy for us, but I wouldn't look at it from a point of view because we're a higher level, there'll be no threat. Like, if those drow are chasing after us, just keep in mind what drow poison does. If you fail the saving throw by 5 or more, you're unconscious. What happens if we end up with 4 or 5 drow shooting at the party?
Just need a couple of missed con saves and we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I happen to have some drow poison bolts, so I can treat them to their own medicine. I also have these special bolts that Sanj gave me.
Oh yeah, you forget those.
Let's not waste them yet, though. I feel like that's like, oh boy.
I was like, oh shit, I need to. Whoever's standing over there needs to not be there anymore.
Yeah, I have a feeling they'll come in handy at some point.
Yeah.
While we're quickly taking a break, does anyone know what's going on with Cassia?
No, actually.
No. I think he's got weird hours. Like I don't know his sleeping patterns, but apparently he's tired all the time in sessions.
Well, I think he's mentioned that he's mildly insomniatic. Is that? I don't even know. What it's
Oh, okay, right.
I think he has mentioned that at some stage before. It's mild insomnia or something. So yeah. Plus, this game is his AM as well, right? Because is he based in? It's either America or Canada, I think.
See, he was playing in the other game, which starts at like 6:30 Eastern time, Australian Eastern. So, and that was like a late night for him.
I was just curious because I think he wasn't here for most of last session either, was he?
You're talking about Kyle, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, hasn't been around for any of the games for a couple of. So yeah, taking a sabbatical from all of them, I think. So I didn't realize that he wasn't coming to the, but yeah, obviously. Okay. This encounter is effectively over. Unless we start shooting driders. And
Plan to.
don't plan to. So the boat will drift past a rocky bank, a little beach that's filled with pebbles and tiny crabs and little glass-like colorless gemstones. And but none of this really catches your eyes or interest as much as the entity that is up there on the bank. A drider.
By Saloon, what is that?
That's what's known as a drider.
Drider.
It's a fearsome combination of drow and spider.
Oh, that's not very imaginative. Spider, drow, drider.
Oh.
You can think about the creativity of the name while it's tearing you apart. But luckily for us, this one knows its place. So we have nothing to fear from it.
It does seem to be kneeling before you, although it briefly raises its head and quite shocked at the company that the mistress is keeping. And there's a moment where it questions whether this might be some sort of elaborate ruse, but it knows better than to second guess the nature of drow priestesses.
Isn't that like weird to see it with like another half drow and a Levitian priest? Like,
I guess not. I guess it's not. And a tabaxi.
Seems to
it's not.
fit in the theme, right?
Yeah.
The tabaxi's probably the weirdest thing there.
Yeah, like you got some unusual slaves, but yeah.
Okay, that looks like they're having a full-on party down there on the shore.
What is that?
Not inaccurate. Let's have a look at what that is up there. So,
Is this a small world after all Disneyland ride?
I think it is. Like, honestly, since you mentioned, I will tell you the name of the encounter when we're done, and you can decide for yourself. So at the edge of this riverside cavern, which vaguely resembles a clamshell, you can see that there is 3 human pirates, and they are walking around with their peg legs and their parrots and their hats, and they're clearly looking for something, moving rocks around, digging deep. They haven't even noticed you. Arr! She be buried around here somewhere. Keep looking, slur tongue. Put you back into it, fishbone Jim. Arr! You bunch of scallywags have lost me treasure for too long. And yeah, so these pirates are looking for treasure.
Need a hand?
I'll tell you the name now. They are called the Booty Hunters.
It's terrible. It's terrible, even for wizards. Jesus.
Arr! Keep looking, you mangy rat. It must be buried.
But should we help them? It seems like they could use a hand, finding their treasure.
I mean, I don't know how a bunch of humans managed to get down here.
Well, I imagine the same way everyone else gets down here. The stairs.
Well, yes, but we walk through an immense amount of spiders and drow, and here they are, just casually looking for treasure.
They are also ethereal. They are quite clearly ghosts.
I was going to say, do I notice that they're ghosts?
Yeah, they glow softly, and you can see right through them.
Well, that explains that.
The party begins to drift on by.
Well, I sort of unperturbed, I call out to them, "Need a hand?"
And one of the pirates looks over his shoulder. Did you hear something?
Oh no. They're old and hard of hearing.
Maybe it's someone who knows where the treasure is, Captain. Oh, maybe. Who goes there? He yells.
Zevram. Alentir.
Well, come and lend your hand then, Zevram.
Oh, clever, yes. What should we do? Should we pull over?
I guess I'll look down at the state of the raft.
Maybe I could put them to final room.
Well, let's not do that just yet. Let's see if we can find their treasure.
Something tells me that 3 undead pirates who've been searching for their treasure for God knows how long won't be very pleased when you find it first. Especially if you decide you don't want to share it with them.
Well, if we're not pulling over, I'm going to use my pole to sort of vault over onto the land.
And as soon as you land, there ye be. And now tell us everything you know. Where is it buried?
I don't know.
What did you do with me treasure, scallywag?
Oh, we're having this conversation. I didn't take your treasure. I just want to help you find it. Perhaps
good lad.
your soul's at rest.
Well, I don't know much about me soul at rest. I think I'll be going 7 leagues down, if you know. While I'm still alive, I'll drink and I'll wench until the crows come home. But I need my treasure if I'm gonna do any of that.
Well, let's retrace your steps. Where did you last see it?
Let me think. I buried it by the river Sargal.
All right, that's a little broad. Can you perhaps focus it down a little bit?
Somewhere on the shore it was. It's around here somewhere, but I've dug up holes all over the place here, and I cannot seem to find it. Are you sure you don't know where hidden treasure can be found?
But no, perhaps one of my friends could help. They're good at finding things.
I remember it was on the left-hand side. A little alcove, a beach there was, on the left-hand side of the river going downstream. And here we are, ain't we? The left-hand side, there's a beach. Now where the devil can it be?
Did one of you perhaps want to help me here? Is there any magic in your treasure?
I can't remember. Maybe there is. Oh, it's a magic treasure, fellas. Oh, a magic treasure. You want to be famous and rich, Captain. Oh, what's in this magic treasure?
Do I get the sense that they're not completely with it?
Do you get that sense?
Alright, well,
Can I remember what was in me, treasure? Only that I buried it on the left-hand side, going downstream.
is there a shovel I could use around here, perhaps?
Aye, why don't you pick one up and put your back into it? Sure enough, there are. There's all the gear that you might require.
Well, I pick one up. I sort of give a glance back to the rest of the party, and I'm going to move forward a bit here.
What are you looking at, lad? There's nothing back there. Just the river. It's quiet out there. Nothing to fear. Concentrate.
Well, I guess I'll start here if the rest of you want to join in.
Oh, well, how about we split up? Boney Jim, you go over there. I'll dig over here. And what did you say your name was? Left hand?
Is he talking to me?
Yeah, Zevram Left Hand?
No, Zevram Alentir.
Oh, are you sure? Never mind, get back to work! And so they're 20 feet, 30 feet away from each other, kind of split up and start digging around. You, I guess you could make an investigation roll.
Sure.
Sure. You find a recently dug hole.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not one for menial labor, right? So I think I would maybe give this 10 minutes before I grow bored of it.
What did you find, boy?
Sand and gravel.
Well, what's your next move then?
You know what? I think I might go and get a bigger shovel.
Oh, good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Yes, I do have lots of those ideas.
Wait a minute. You wouldn't be trying to make off with me treasure now, would you?
I haven't found anything. You could check my person.
He does. Yes, pat him down, Skeletal Jim.
I don't want them getting that close. I'll draw my sword. Hold on.
Oh.
You can look from afar.
Make a deception check at disadvantage. Aye, the chest would be too big to hide on a skinny person like that. He's got less meat on him than you, Jim.
What? Hold on.
You come back with that big shovel, and if you happen to find me treasure along the way, don't forget that it's mine. I'll give each of ye a share, as you deserve, but the captain splits the loot.
Right. Fair's fair.
Fair's fair. I like that one.
I'm going to push up with the shovel and say, look back at the party. No help at all, really.
Well, excuse me if I wasn't about to try and make friends with 3 spectral ghosts.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm keeping this shovel.
Sure, you can keep it as a souvenir to remember your new friends by.
You have a spectral shovel. It functions on both the prime material plane and also the ethereal plane.
Nice.
Ghost shovel score.
Technically, it inflicts force damage. Alright. Okay. Shark Boy, you're up front. Roll a d6.
Sure.
You want to chuck your spectral shovel in the bag with the poltergeist pot? Are we just gonna like collect a haunted collection of items?
Yeah, now we just need like a spooky, scary skeleton.
Okay. Just a moment as I put it down on the map. But you see a glowing light up ahead. It radiates between very bright and very dim.
Hmm.
And it sort of pulsates. It's soon joined by a second of these floating, dancing lights, and then a third, and a fourth, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm there. Just gonna like dashing. It's 100% moving. Caught my interest.
They float above the waterline and seem to drift and just glow with intense light of half 100 different colours.
Pretty.
Party is
Yeah.
drifting towards them.
Just circling the area, kind of enraptured in this in these lights.
Ooh.
Like I'm off to a fire.
Seeing these lights, do I recognize them? Do I know what they are?
Make a nature check or arcana.
Both are equally bad, so I guess I'll do it in nature.
Yeah. You don't know exactly what they are, but you're not some fool from the surface. You understand the dangers of the Underdark. These sort of lights are often used to lure unfortunates into traps, or they may represent some other semi-magical hazard that it's kind of designed to enchant and entrance, but ultimately leads to one's doom.
Hmm. I'll mention that.
As the boat drifts closer towards them.
Well,
I'll
what-
break the surface here and just kind of like break and then re-enter.
Yeah, they fly away, then fly down. Staying out of your reach, but investigating. Your smoke dances in the coloured lights.
yeah, light isn't natural down here. The fact that these lights are here is ominous, to say the least. It's very likely we're floating straight into some sort of trap.
They don't look like dancing lights, do they?
Make an arcana check.
Well, if it's a trap, it's a pretty trap.
They are behaving with independence and sentience. They're acting independently of each other, but kind of as a community.
Ah, so they're awakened dancing lights.
The lights continue to drift on down the river, and likewise, so do you.
Yeah, there's no turning back now.
I'll kind of pop my head up above the water. Adrastia, how far are we from Skullport?
Not far. Like it's less than a mile.
Yeah, less than a mile, Lucius.
Alright, cool. I'll go back underwater. How much light are these things giving off? Because it's quite a lot on the map.
Yeah, sorry, how much light? It ranges between 10 feet and 120 feet, so I've just set it to 120.
Oh, okay, so they're pretty bright.
They're intensely bright, hugely bright, and of a range of different pretty colours as well. And then they suddenly go dark.
Who turned out the lights?
Brace yourselves.
Roll initiative, and then who gets hit by the drow crossbow bolts? This looks like a trap as much as a trap can be a trap.
By the sound of it, you are not surprised when you see figures moving at the edge of your dark vision. So yeah, let's roll for initiative. Not sure. Yes. All right. Okay, Adrastia. Lucius has called it a trap, specifically the drow. What's your reaction?
Well, I can't see anybody at the moment, but I'm gonna assume that it's drow. So,
What's your passive perception?
it is 16.
All right. They seem to emerge from the shadows for you. Drow on both sides of the crossing. They're kind of shocked to see you, and they are hiding. But it doesn't. You're not able to predict their intentions.
I'm gonna call out in Elvish. Like, stand down. Me and my subordinates are simply passing through to Skullport.
Make an intimidate check at disadvantage.
It's worth a shot.
We've been waiting for you, my lady. And he bows.
Oh, well, that was better than expected.
Aldrich.
So I see 2 drow just bowing.
What's your passive perception? It's probably pretty high as well.
Mine is 19.
Yeah, you see 3 drow. They have crossbows, hand crossbows, ready to launch their assault. But Adrastia speaks to them in Elven. I'm not sure if you can understand the language or not. But in any case, the drow seems to give a curt, small bow.
I will clutch onto my holy symbol. Kind of have my shield at the ready, and if any of the drow do anything hostile, I will cast Toll the Dead as a held action.
Yeah. Excellent. Those invisible globes of light haven't yet reappeared. Zebram.
I'm a little curious at this interaction at the moment. Like, I'm looking at Adrastia like, are they expecting us? I guess I'm trying to figure out whether they're being facetious or not.
Alright, make an insight check. Alright, that's pretty poor. That must be the welcoming committee.
Yeah, I guess I just inch closer to Adrastia a little bit, feeling a bit safer next to her. So I'll trust in what she's going to do next.
Alright. Uh-huh. The reef shark.
Yeah, having lost sight of the raft, I think I'll circle back around. And kind of like break the surface with the fin and just like circle in place. Just waiting to I guess kind of accompany the raft downstream.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any idea about what's going on the surface.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Lucius, what's your passive perception? If you're there, Lucius,
Matt.
what's your passive perception?
Didn't go through. Got me now?
Yeah.
I have the incredibly high passive perception of 10.
Excellent. And with 10, you'll be surprised to learn that you actually. I guess one of them is bowing, so it's not that. Difficult to see. It's hard to miss. What do you do?
My first reaction for seeing more than one drow would be to fireball. But Adrastia is talking, so it's like, I'll let them live for another 6 seconds.
Excellent. Suddenly the area begins to become filled with illumination. The illumination is mostly purple with violets and blues dancing around. And the party, like this, the ones above the surface, that is, the four in the raft, are subjected to not one, but 2 fairy fires. Is that a hostile action, Aldrich?
I'm sorry, ask again?
They're hitting you with fairy fire. Do you count that as hostile?
It's like they're throwing glitter at you. Sparkly lights and stuff.
It's like the shining spotlights on us.
Yeah, lighting us
Yeah,
up.
like if you're in the Underdark and someone walks up to you with like a disco strobe light and is like, hold this, is that a hostile action?
I will consider that not hostile.
Excellent. Everyone on the boat can make 2 dexterity saving throws as you attempt to avoid the fairy fire spilling all over you.
In case you want, unless like you want to willingly hold the disco strobe light.
Yeah,
Miss me with
that's
that
it.
very fire.
Beautiful. Take the
Ariel's
mistress.
not here, by the way, so it's just them 3 that you'll get
good,
saved
yeah,
from.
good call. I'll take him, off the map for now. There's no need to do that. Anyway, take the mistress. Kill the rest. Say, there's the drow who bowed, and the remaining 2 of them fire their crossbows, one into Ariok and one into Zevram. One into Aldrich, one into Zevram. Aldrich and Zevram. Zevram, what's your passive perception?
13.
Alright, the 4th drow the one that got the stealth roll of 22 is now revealed. He got a critical hit on you.
Uh-oh.
Bam. So it's only an extra, I think, what, D4 damage? D6.
The poison?
No, from the critical hit, natural 20.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
But it's factored in there.
Yeah, I think it
already.
accounts for that.
Oh, right, that's the one, isn't it? Yeah, I'm thinking the one is poison damage. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, no, yep, I'm just losing it here. So make a Constitution saving throw as the drow's poison surges through your body, and not for the first time are you reminded that you are not full-blooded elf.
Well, at least I'm not unconscious.
True. So you begin to feel drowsy, and but the effects of the poison do not completely take hold. The drow then move into a better position to continue their assault with. Alright, Adrastia. The boat sails forward a few feet. Gently.
I'll just shout out in Elvish, foolish mistake, my kin. I'll make sure that you regret this. As I level my crossbow and start shooting.
House of Runda will reward us greatly for your capture, madam.
You can try.
Bam.
Okay, so that one, I guess I'll shoot. God, target-rich environment.
You do. They have chain shirts.
I guess this one here.
Beautiful. Each of them has +2 on their armor class, thanks to their cover. Like that's what they specifically ran into you kind of get some behind stalactites and stalagmites. And even so, your shot is accurate enough to strike between the links in their fine chain.
Yeah.
It's a sorry, you go.
Yeah, it's pretty feeble, but I do have 2 shots left of fire arrows.
It's pretty feeble, but this warrior is no experienced champion, and it seems that that single shot has severely injured him.
And now for the finisher.
Bam. And the loss of life is immediate. Alright, Aldrich. One of the drow has died, the rest of them are revealed, but they're all hiding in behind rocky escarpments.
Am I able to hit that one? Covered.
He has +2 to his armor class, but that's the only thing. So if it's a saving throw, you can hit him as normal.
I think cover does add to dexterity saving throws, though.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, it should if it doesn't. So yeah, I think it does. Yeah, they tend to be wisdom anyway. Maybe it's just people love Toilet Head. So the bell rings, but it rocks and shakes the stalagmites and sets the bats to flight, but the drow seems unaffected. A big blow, but very violent. But he ducks behind the wall of stone before it affects him. Those small but bright lights that you witnessed before reappear and begin buzzing around. Their intention is as yet unclear. One, Yep. Yep. All right. One of them, for reasons unknown, drifts its way towards the drow, and the other three drift their way towards those of you who are floating on the raft. Yeah, they zip through the air with a remarkable speed, not the speed of light, but certainly faster than any firefly you've ever seen. And each of these individual balls of light, as it approaches its chosen target, it delivers a shock of lightning. The first one to the drow, and he's as surprised as he is, well, shocked. And the violent electrical jolt takes him completely by surprise. Aldrich is attacked once, and because Ariok can't be attacked, Zevrim is attacked twice. Aldrich and Zevrim twice. 17 on Aldrich, 14-20 on Zevrim, as they unleash electrical charges into your body that stop your heart.
I guess I just sort of hold out a 0 to sort of absorb the damage. Neither of them hit.
Alright. Now, after having shocked you, each of them then begins to drain your life. So it's a bonus action. Targets one creature you can see as the same ones that it attacked. So you're going to take 2 saving throws, Zevrim, and Aldrich, you 1 saving throw, and finally the drow has to make a saving throw as well.
That said, it has to target something with 0 hit points.
Oh, if it has 0 hit points, it is alive. I thought it was 0 hit points. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're great for pointing it out. So they feed on. So they kill downed targets. That's a fucking cruel monster, that one. My god. They had a really bad reputation in previous editions. I guess they still deserve it.
Yeah, I think any monster that has a save or die attack is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's nasty.
It's not as bad as some other stuff because you have to be at 0 hit points anyway. It's just it can be painful to lose your death saving throws. It's the kind of thing where it's like, oh no, the cleric was right about to heal me, but I instant died because of the will-o-wisp.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So I don't think this is a fight for a raft. So I'm going to cast Freedom of Movement on myself.
Uh-huh.
And I will then attempt to swim and move onto the shore.
Beautiful. You are able to walk on the shore with ease.
I'll probably take 2 attacks there.
Alright. I'll see what you can see from where you're standing. You can see the movement of an individual getting up out of a meditative trance around the corner. They are equipping themselves with their weapons as we speak.
Alright. I don't think I can do anything with my bonus action. Actually, no, it's another spell. I will just give Adrastia inspiration.
Okay.
Excellent. There is a reef shark.
Are these entities? I have a couple of questions, I suppose. Would I have seen these lights attack my allies? And if so, are they within 5 feet of the surface of the water?
They zapped, and they're around about head height, pretty much 5 feet above the waterline, and they zapped the faces or the brains. They rise and fall between like 4 feet and 8 feet.
So I'm gonna get underneath this one here in the water, and then as if I was going after a seal or something, jump, and try and bite up at it.
They are terribly fast and almost made of light themselves. So it dodges swiftly out of the way, going in teeth.
Sure. And then I'm gonna kind of keep swimming around, kind of make my way over to Lucius, and then yeah, that's it.
The manta and the shark are safe.
Alright. So, you know how dolphins, like, backflip out of the water?
Yeah.
I'm going to swim to here, break the surface of the water, do a fancy dolphin backflip pose, plant my wand at these guys here, and cast Fireball before returning to the water.
Nasty. Alright. Dex. And Dex. Wow. I've never seen a creature with a dexterity of 28 before. At least, not on this low
Willow
train.
Wisps have like +9, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
incredible. So 25 damage, the Will-O-Wisp survives.
It's only 12 for the Will-O-Wisp and one of the Drow, and the other Drow takes 25.
Excellent. And the Drow are incinerated.
And when I return to the water, I'll use some of my excess movement to, like, go down deep, so I'm safe from crossbow bolts.
Cool. The last surviving Drow soldier launched himself at Zevram. And does what he can to finish his life the old-fashioned way. Ooh, 20.
Will not hit.
Will not hit. Okay. By now, the remaining entity just around the corner has come out of their trance, and they begin to stand up, still dressed in their leather armor, having meditated while wearing it. Their blade now drawn. It seems that they may be ready for combat. Bedrastria, you can see none of this from your vantage point.
And it's because I can't see that. How difficult would it be to get to the bank that Lucius is near?
The water's only about 8 feet deep, so it'd be a little bit of a swim, but there's no current. Essentially, it would be easy. It's difficult terrain, double your movement. I mean, well, swimming speed is half your movement, however you want to look at it. Yeah.
Alright, speaking of difficult terrain, there's a ranger thing here, which sounds a bit broken, but...
Yeah, it's not actually difficult terrain, it was the wrong terminology. Just swimming is half your speed. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, he says you ignore difficult terrain, just full
Yeah. I used the wrong term.
Okay, so luckily I have a fleet of foot, so I can make it there with my bonus action.
Excellent.
And
The
now
Drows are both dead, but the Will-O-Wisp is recovering from the burst of flame.
I'm gonna try and finish off the Will-O-Wisp next to
Alright.
the dead drow.
Shoot it straight out of the sky.
I'm gonna use a silver bolt for this shot.
Excellent idea. Alright. I'm just gonna post their no, I can't post it, can't copy it, but also they are resistant to acid, cold, fire, necrotic, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, immune to lightning and poison, immune to exhaustion, grappled, paralyzed, poisoned, prone, restrained, and unconscious. I want to play a Will-O-Wisp. That's like the best player character ever. In any case, your strike sails straight past it. It zips out of the way with the kind of speed that you're just not used to.
Oh yeah, that's right, I don't have advantage. Because I'm lit up like a Christmas tree.
Brightly.
So I'll try and shoot it again with the second one. With
Excellent.
the silver bolt.
Bam, that does it. Oh, and just enough to send its lights, make its lights go out.
Nice.
Evram, you are face to face with a drow warrior who walks with confidence and grace. She is a female. Her long white hair splayed out behind her, and I guess I won't have time to find out who you are, as she stabs into towards your heart and attempts to finish your life quickly.
I'm going to shield, I think. It won't stop the second crit on me, but it'll stop that first set of damage. So yeah, I'll flourish my cloak to shield the first attack, but the second one will hit.
The blade, coated in some black vile fluid, burns your skin and causes your body to contort. She aimed for the heart, and she almost struck it. So that's what, 8 plus 29, 37? Nasty.
37, shit.
She laughs. Do not worry. You are not my target. Aldrich.
The wisp, I guess, right next to me. I'm going to cast Toll the Dead, and even though it is resistant to necrotic, I have an inescapable destruction, which ignores that.
Awesome. Okay. It cannot escape the blast of sound waves, and you agitate the will-o-wisp quite greatly. But do not destroy it.
And that's the end of my turn.
The will-o-wisp is angry at you for what you did, and so it shocks you. 22 for 13 points of damage. The other two have a different plan. They go invisible. Let's see, how far do they travel? Alright, one of them suddenly becomes visible again. Oh no, it doesn't. No, that's not true. Alright, Zevran.
Well, this is, I'm finding myself in a pickle here. I think what I'll do is cast Phantasmal Force on the chick that just stabbed me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make her believe that she's being locked inside an Iron Maiden.
Alright. I am in the Iron Maiden again. I am in the Iron Maiden again. I belong here. And she snaps out of it.
Yeah, okay. This isn't great. I'm just trying to think what else I can do with my bonus action. I'm just going to give Aldrich inspiration as well.
Reef Shark.
You are muted, bitch.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna swim up to the shore and try and like propel myself out and up onto it. As I kind of breach the water, I'll use a free action to cease concentrating
Excellent.
on the spell. So I'll bring myself down here.
You look less like a fish.
And then seeing Zevram in a spot of bother, I am going to produce a small piece of iron, and I'm going to cast Hold Person at 3rd level, targeting both of these individuals.
Ah, both of them. How interesting. So wisdom? Yeah.
I think so. I'll just link the spell now. This is it's DC 17.
Alright. The drow is caught in place and cannot move, but his mistress appears to be in full control of her faculty.
Awesome. And that's turn.
Alright. Because there's no shark, I lost Sandra.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What had I rolled?
You're in front of Lucius, and that's what matters.
Okay.
Lucius.
Ha! Zevram's in a bit of a pickle now, isn't he?
He is. Well, like a gherkin. It's that. I don't know. I got nothing. I had something.
So Sanj successfully held this one, yeah?
That's right. The common drow soldier, the mere male, has been trapped, but the female, whom we all know is the more dangerous of the sexes, is in full control of her faculty. This is what she looks like. I can't show you the picture because, reasons.
Alright, I shall climb up onto land here, and I shall cast Dominate Person, and I will use my portent to give her a 4.
She is dominated. She seems to kind of like it.
Nice.
And I'm going to instruct her to strike down the drow that's next to her on her turn.
She looks at you. You did not have to ask. And it's the Hell Drow's turn, so he gets a saving throw at the end of his go, right?
Paralyzed for the duration.
And,
so at the end of each of his turns, that's right.
Yeah.
Cool. 17?
17 is the DC.
Lol, he looks like he almost breaks out of it, but all he could do is move his eyes and sweat. Trastia, you were on the bank. The light from the will-o-wisp has gone out. There is a big tunnel leading up ahead. You could abandon your party here and go adventuring if you want.
I definitely could.
You could.
Nah, I will not do that.
Alright.
Zevram's kind of in the way a little bit.
I'm sorry, you could just kill me and then I won't be in the way.
Does that give her any AC? Because he's slightly in the way.
He does. She does have a bonus. Yeah, that's right. +2 to her armor class.
Mm. Well, the wizards are bringing the two wizards are backing up Zevram, and if two wizards can't stop her, then no one can. So
yeah, if Zevram dies with Sergeant Lucius helping him, they wanted him to die.
Instead, I'll focus on the one will-o-wisp that I can see.
Ah, yeah, that's right. The one that's still older face.
Yeah, I'll shoot 2 silver bolts at that one.
Doo-doo! Bam, and that's enough. That's enough to make it go dim.
Oh, I still have a second attack, which isn't going to get used. It's unfortunate.
Alright.
Oh, I can. Yeah. Yeah, I'll direct the second attack towards the female drow.
Alright. So
Just pushing out
the
that darkness again.
no worries. You have a clear shot at the male, helpless he is.
I think you have
Right.
advantage because he's paralyzed.
Indeed you will.
No, I suppose you might have it already from something else, but yeah.
You may,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, you would have advantage against the drow male, but against the female, +2 to its own class.
Right, so I'll just shoot a regular bolt at her.
Doo-doo. 16 will be close, but she has a little tiny buckler in her hands, and she catches your bolt with the buckler. You're next, she whispers, she mouths the words.
Just scowl at her.
You would probably recognize this this person. Make a history check.
History. History is not my strong suit, but here we go.
No, it's probably insignificant female. She's an elite champion of a hit squad, but that's a pretty low ranking female that they send out to do men's work. In any case,
Makes sense.
that's it. The dominated drow relishes this opportunity to execute her own subordinate. She delivers a pair of strikes straight towards its heart. 16 will hit.
Yeah, and they're all criticals as well because he's paralyzed.
Good call. The poison is worn off, but it will be enough for him to immediately fall over and begin dying. His blood leaching out from him. He's gurgling and reaching up to her. Why? Why? Aldrich, as this drow gurgles and pleads for a life that is already lost, what do you do?
I'm going to cast healing at ever. Say I am the wind beneath you.
Did you ever know, Zevram, that he was your hero? Or you were his hero? One of the two, I'm not sure.
I really wish that was information he kept to himself.
Alright. You feel some rejuvenation. Yeah, it's moderate. You're feeling like you may yet live. Someone who isn't feeling like they may yet live is our dying drow, whose life force is suddenly consumed by the appearance of a will-o-wisp. It drains his life, and the will-o-wisp suddenly feels rejuvenated as it consumes what essence remained of this dying man. We don't know where the other will-o-wisp is. It could be anywhere.
So does this woman look visibly? I guess what I'm asking is the dominate spell obvious?
She just killed her subordinate by driving her blade through its heart twice. I'll give you an insight check if you want to use your reaction, but that does use your reaction.
Sure, I'll go ahead and use that.
Yeah, it's clear to you that she's enchanted. You you understand enough about enchantment magic to know when. I mean, she looks like what was his name, Maloon. She's got that blank look of command, like a golem.
Sure.
Not to mention, it's probably pretty obvious when I say kill that man, and she kills that man.
And you're doing the death metal sign up in the air, and then pulsating energy coming from it.
I don't
It's
know.
either,
Maybe I'm
it's either
beginning
that
to
or
think-
Lucius has been conspiring with the Drow all along.
or maybe I'm beginning to think you're working on your people skills and
Indeed.
you just have,
Showing leadership.
He's that charismatic. You can just
yeah, exactly.
kill your friend. All right.
I mean, it's very far fetched, but someone might go there. I'm going to spend my action to move away. Hopefully, the wisp is too busy on the corpse, and attempt to grapple this girl,
Yeah, no worries.
or rather, shove her to the ground first.
Okay. Yeah, there's no reason why she
Wow,
would be
Zevram! In
weakened.
front of
so-
everyone?
Apparently, she's taken by surprise. And although your shove is weak and girlish, she squeals as she falls over.
Push her over like, eh. And she's like, eh.
She pulls your hair.
Hey, now it's on. Okay.
Bitch! You did not go there. Sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god, Sanj. What have we done? There is one Will-O-Wisp unaccounted for. It seems that we have captured a drow daughter of some sorts. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and dispatch the Will-O-Wisp that's appeared. Just with a ray of frost, I'll procure my my cantrip wand and send a ray its way.
Bam.
Ray 19.
19. Barely enough.
Sure.
The Will-O-Wisp
It's
is
13.
terrified. Begins turning blue and flashing bright red.
Just move out here, and then that's my turn.
It's like a little police siren. Blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. Lucius.
Alright. Does Zevram have any rope on him? Like visible?
I'm just having a look. I do have a silk rope that's probably hanging off my pack somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to use my action to take more specific control using the Dominate spell, and I'm going to have her drop her weapons and then try and snatch Zevram's rope off of his pack and start tying herself up.
Alright.
I mean, she just grabbed my hair, and now she's grabbing my rope.
That's right. And the worst part about it is that, like, Aldrich isn't even able to this girl. Like, she's perfect for your temple.
I mean, I'm just having fun here. She's already wrestling with Zevram, so I'm just going to use a spell to stir him up some more.
I believe we have captured an elite drow. The remaining if the Will-O-Wisps turn invisible. If not, they are blasted from the sky. In any case, the drow is yours.
Yeah, I sort of stumble back a little bit. The poison. I'm beginning to feel the effects of the poison, and I'm a little bit drowsy in my feet. And
Drowsy.
Zevram, are you alright?
That bolt, I think it had something on it. I don't feel so well.
Take a seat. Relax. Adrastia, do you know this woman?
She doesn't look familiar.
You don't know me? How? I am Meriden Helvire. I am one of the most feared killers in service of House Urvindar.
I just give her a blank look. Like, it's obvious to her that I'm not lying. I really don't know who she is.
You can't be that good. You failed to kill me, and I'm half drow.
I was not informed that there would be such a powerful contingent of sorcerers among you.
Sanj blushes a little.
I'm gonna move up to her and I'm gonna slap on some manacles onto her wrists in addition to the rope.
Dare I ask, what shall be my fate?
Who knows? I guess we'll see.
How did you hear of us coming down the river? This was obviously an ambush. Where did you get the information?
We have spies on the surface. The actions of what goes on in Trollskull are easy enough for any who have eyes to see. It was clear you were mobilizing, that you were preparing for a new quest. It was obvious to me, at least, that you would come to Undermountain. Your business here is unfinished.
But the drow back at the ruins, they let us through. Why?
They let you through? Under whose permission?
I just laugh hysterically.
I point at Adrestia.
I had not learned that you were also in service to House of Rindar. I am glad, madam, that you have finally come into the Dark Fold.
Speak for yourself. I'm not beholden to any particular noble house.
Then, those foolish males! Those idiots!
That's right. Those fools let us pass without so much as a scratch.
This is what happens when the maidens spend too much time with their experiments, spend too much time with their arcane practices. They should be paying more attention to what's going on around them instead of doing things.
Go on.
This Meriden might be worth something to ransom.
I say we should take what provision she has. Items of note, potions, gold. It's worth the trouble, I think.
Ransom. Drow. That's...
But she's their best killer. Why wouldn't they want her back?
I mean, yeah, I suppose. Aldrich, you're good at interrogating people. I was thinking more, you'd probably get some more out of her about the current state of, well, Skullport. What exactly the Drow are doing.
Oh, there goes the boat.
Ariok's asleep on the boat.
Ariok, wake up!
Curled up having a nap.
He wakes up and he's already reached like 500 miles into the Underdark.
Who'd have to see?
Sanj, something in that room. I caught a glimpse of it. I'm not sure what it is, though.
What, down here?
Yes.
Very well, I'll take a look.
It is a corpse. It looks like a halfling's corpse.
Oh.
They have like some frayed rope, a busted water skin, some sturdy boots, some caltrops.
Recently deceased?
Nah, skeleton.
Okay. Does it appear to be some sort? Is it like an obvious sort of campsite, perhaps? Like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a campsite for some adventurer. But he will adventure no more.
Nothing of interest, Severin. Just a halfling that has passed on.
Well, with our raft drifting off and some of us a bit worse the wear, could we perhaps lie down here for a while?
I was about to suggest the same. I can start working on our tiny hut while we question this Meriden.
Seems like a plan.
Alright.
While you do that, I'm gonna splash across the river and see if these two drow had anything interesting.
Yeah, not much. They got their blades, they've got their poisons. Each one has a 1d3 drow poisons remaining. Chain shirts. So the stuff they've got is of good quality and it's expensive enough, you know. Like they're decked out in like 100 gold pieces worth of gear between their nice boots and their silk shirts and their chain shirts and everything. But aside from the 1d3 poisons, there's nothing that's portable. Obvious. They don't get
So,
paid. Men don't need money. Men,
They gave them,
men just rely on on their wives for everything.
yeah, they really gave them the bare minimum equipment for this.
They did.
Drastia, do you want to either throw them in the river or bring the corpses over here? Just so drow don't wander along to that side of the river and find them?
Yeah, sure. Someone want to give me a hand?
Typical female drow doesn't want to do any of the work herself.
I'll help if Lucius is establishing the hut.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we can put the hut like here, so that way it covers the defense of the entrance, but also we can then chuck the female drow in here, so that we've got like a little prison cell, because she can't go through stone walls and she can't go through the tiny hut.
Yeah, I bound her with manacles, so I doubt she's getting out of that.
While I have a sec with Address here on this side of the river, I turn to you and I ask, Addressia, are you, by any chance, of a noble lineage down here? These drow seem to almost with respect, and I'm not too familiar with drow custom, but it seems that you hold a fair amount of sway, and you have thus far.
Well, you clearly don't know much about our culture, but to answer your question, I was nobility a long time ago, well over 100 years ago. It's very distant in my memory. I no longer bear my noble name, and I've completely disassociated myself from my noble house.
Right. Interesting. Good to know.
You were from Faye Branchet, weren't you, Adrassi?
Yeah, it was the one that was wiped out by a different noble house.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from Faye Branchet. Alright. So, we're setting up a tiny hut?
Yeah, and we're
Sorry?
dragging these corpses across the river to the other
Excellent.
side.
Great idea. Great idea. And you can
say
now
we just-
animate them as zombies.
Yeah, I say we just stuff them in a corner. If we toss them in the river, they might float downstream and arouse some suspicion.
Oh, I meant only to feed my my friends, and gesturing to the crabs, yabbies, and all that.
A circle of life and all that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, while they take a rest, I'm not going to rest. I'm going to keep watch.
Alright.
An actual hut. Nice.
Is this a long or a short rest?
I think we're aiming for a long rest. Unless people wanted to keep going.
No, I would appreciate a long rest. I need to go over some of my notes and relax.
And you want me to question her?
Yeah. Do your information extraction techniques.
There's no denying you're awful good at what you do, Aldrich.
Alright.
I know your goals, priest. You cannot fool me. You are only here trying to wipe us out so that your own temple can monopolize the slave trade, she says, gesturing towards your holy symbol.
I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
Excellent.
And then I'm going to roll leather like tool belt on the floor and kind of just look around at some tools in front of her. And as I'm looking, I'm going to turn my head back to her and say, tell me the current state of Skullport.
You hope to scare me with your little trinkets and blades? We Drow have mastered terror techniques that it would take you 100 lifetimes to begin to understand.
I am...
Torture is my hobby.
I'll go up to her and I'll gently her hand and
You see that the fingers have been broken before. There are scars across her arms.
I look deep in her eyes and say, I'm gonna give you one more chance to answer me.
She whispers in your ears, if we work together, we can dominate Waterdeep from beneath. All of its citizens will be ours, bound by chains, visible and invisible. Convince your friends that we should work together. Convince the mistress to finally join House Orvandar. And together we can dominate all of Undermountain and Waterdeep above.
I'm gonna take a pair of clamps and just rip out one of her fingernails.
She's very used to this sort of torture. You may one day find out just how used to it. She has advantage on her saving throw. She doesn't flinch. I broke a nail. Blood pouring down her hand. Trickling down.
I'm going to grab her by her throat and
She smiles.
use vampiric touch to suck some life energy from her.
That's pretty frightening. Make an intimidate check. You think your unnatural techniques can frighten me? Drain every bit of life.
I'm going to use inspiration.
Excellent.
Come on.
When I
Jesus
die,
Christ.
I will be at the feet of the most beautiful goddess in all of the worlds. I long for you, Loth. Hear my prayer, I am coming. I will reveal nothing to these dogs before then.
The minute she says Loth, I just smack her with the
Crunch. There is now fresh scars across her. Oh, she's beginning to be worn down. She'll take several more blows, but enough of those sort of strikes that she'll be beaten unconscious.
This is a tough cookie. You willing to die to hold information?
She looks at Lucius. Is that a signet ring? Are you nobility?
Yes, I suppose so. What's that have to do with anything?
Do you think your mama would be proud to see you right now, little boy?
Probably be disappointed that we didn't kill the drow upon finding them. Probably not very happy that I associate with drow at all, actually.
Your mama
Yeah,
has more sense than you.
No offense, Zevran, but I'll probably never introduce you to my family, you know? Snotty nobles and all that.
Oh, no offense taken. Although I am surprised to hear that you have a mother.
I'm going to tip my crown and command.
Right.
And am I able to use command to have her answer a question?
One word. So it's usually a verb, an action.
To like speak. But
You could.
not
So I think
very
you probably could ask a question and then say answer, and that would be a command.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I shout
Think.
answer, and I like
What
just
was it?
smack her as she looks towards Lucius.
What was the question?
The current state of Skullport.
The Dwarga have more forces than anyone else. The bugbears are cowed, with no leader to unite them. There are many independent merchants trying to carve their little empires, but each are just ants. When the drow choose to strike, they will overwhelm the place, and all will be cast into the sea.
I looked at the others. Anything else?
I think it's going to take some effort getting the information out of her regarding any other questions we might have.
You don't even know what to ask.
I have a question.
Why should I answer you? What even are you?
Well, I'm Zephyr. I'm a performer.
Ask your question, performer.
I try to stagger to my feet, and then I sort of hold out my cloak to one side, showing the underside of it and the crest
Her eyes.
underneath.
Her eyes widen immediately. There's no doubt that she recognises even if she then pretends that she doesn't.
Have you seen this before?
Can she lie and you know about it, or can she simply not lie?
She, I believe, under the
Can't
spell, she
speak.
simply
Yeah.
cannot lie.
Cannot speak a deliberate lie. Her tongue gets tied and tangled as she says, no, not since Menzoberran's.
So you have seen it before. Can you tell me, are there any drow left from this house?
No, you fool. Second Jewess was wiped out, completely destroyed. Wiped out to the last child.
But surely someone must know about what happened to the house.
Everyone knows. It was destroyed. They reached too far, and they fell from up high. And that was the end of House Tekken Jewess. It was only shortly before the exile of House Duerte as well, and the collapse of Fay Branchet not long after its wake.
I don't know what all of that means, but I assure you, House Tekken Jewess is not dead. I live on.
You?
Yes.
You?
I am a child of House Tekken Jewess.
Wait, how old can you be? You can be no older than 50?
27.
You foolish child. Tekken Jewess has been dead for 150 years. You are inheritor of nothing.
Well, I inherited this cloak from my parents, and I don't know what's happened to them.
Then
So
your
clearly-
father must have stole it from a grave.
You're lying.
She smiles, and Aldrich alone, well, Aldrich at least, knows in certainty that she is not.
Well, I don't think we'll get anything more out of this one. What do we do with her?
Did we hear something last week, I think, about household? They were up to something, was it kidnapping people for experiments or something?
That is entirely correct. Yeah, for reasons unknown.
Yeah, it might be worth asking her about these kidnappings that Ovrendar's been doing. I believe we heard about them, and they weren't for slavery, they were for something else.
She gets very tight-lipped, and like her naturally black lips turn a kind of white.
No, I definitely think we're onto something.
I'm going to slap her again and ask her to tell us the experiment.
They are not experiments. They are holy rituals, offerings, dedication. They are gifts to love and from love.
They're kidnapping Waterhavians for blood sacrifice.
I suppose it's all a matter of perspective.
They need to be wiped out.
I agree. We need to put a stop to their operations.
Perhaps we start with this one, gesturing to the drow we have.
She goes into a meditative state as she is filled with religious bliss.
Or perhaps it would be a crueler fate to prevent her from laying eyes upon the one that she wants to see? This Lolth.
So is she wearing any sort of identifying clothing?
Yeah. Perhaps like not a tattoo because she's a female, but some sort of badge of office, one of those glowing tokens that should be able to flash at her ID if you want it crudely. Her rank and identification within the house or Vrendar, and she's like a how do you pay? Like, not a house guard, more like a trusted mercenary. Think Boba Fett to the Empire.
Right. Okay. I guess spotting this badge, I'd sort of snatch it off her, and then I'd give her a long look. Would I believe that Adrastia could probably pass off as her?
To someone who doesn't know shit. Like, they don't look the same, but they're both of similar height. You've got white hair, right, Adrastia?
Yeah.
Both got white hair, you know.
Red eyes too.
Yeah. So yeah, in a darkened space to people who avert their eyes, then maybe.
Sure. Well, I sort of flip the badge in my hand and catch it again.
All right.
Well, I think we might have a way into their operations now. With this obviously important badge here, and Adrastia's, well, prowess, we might be able to find ourselves entry.
Well, I was thinking more of a how do you put it? Burn everything to the ground approach. If they're kidnapping
Isn't it better to burn
Watahavians
from the inside out?
Is that the plan here? Are we looking to overthrow this operation?
well, yeah, my concern's not so much overthrowing the operation anymore. If they're kidnapping Watahavians for sacrifices to an evil god, that needs to be ended immediately.
Agreed, yes.
So, Skullport was the base to Xanathar's guild, right?
Sort of. The Xanathar's Guild have a base that is in between the sewers and Skullport, and it's connected to both. And Xanathar, while he was alive, was effective of Skullport because their numbers were by far the greatest.
So
That's kind of changed now because the bugbears are independent.
okay, so it's run by the bugbears.
It's not run by anyone now. This is just information partly that you've gathered from her, but mostly that you get from Rastia. The political situation is something like this. There are a lot of Duergar, a lot of Dark Dwarves. A lot of those Dark Dwarves have ties to the Zentarum. They're not necessarily Zentarum at all, but they were working for the Xanathars, and now they've kind of hooked up with the Zentarum, kind of. They're still pretty independent, though, and there's lots of them. Beyond that, there are the Bugbears that used to be part of the Xanathar's Guild and have now got, nowhere else to go. And half a dozen other much smaller, you shouldn't even really call them factions, rather there's like representatives of, like there might be a Harper here or there. Some of them, like there's a Harper that's quite open about being a Harper, Dragonborn, and it's pretty free and independent, and there's nothing more than a couple of merchants and nothing more.
I'm gonna look to her and ask her what is the name of the person running this operation.
Why should I tell you?
Maybe I'll give you a quick death instead of a slow one.
Swear on your god you will give me a quick death.
Yes. Tell me everything. Give you painless, quick death.
Therese, Therese or Vrindar. The Orvrindar girls have come here personally to oversee the operation. You think it is simple blood magic? Ritual sacrifice? Ha! We would not be so wasteful.
And are there more drow or others that work with that are aware of our presence currently?
Many more. But, to my knowledge, no one knows you have yet come to Undermountain, returned. We were expecting it, but I had not been informed that you were on your way.
And
If you give me my life, I will give you something else as well.
What?
You are afraid of ritual sacrifice and of blood magic? You are afraid of the the sorcery of other worlds? I will tell you something very special, but only if each of you promise me my life. I will not run to House of Rindar. They do not take failure very well. You have my word, I will flee. I will flee Undermountain.
I'm gonna insight check that.
You can.
Yeah.
You have advantage because she's under zone of truth. Makes it hard to lie. For as long as it is convenient. You know, it's a permanent temporary measure.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, I don't really want to kill her, and I believe that everyone can be redeemed. So I say we give her a chance. But if we find you again, we will not be giving you a second chance.
Why not? You gave her one. Points towards Adastria.
Yes, well, she hasn't tried to kill us.
Yet.
Vicious.
Have you made your decision? Are you willing to spare my life?
If I see you again, Meriden, I will reduce you to naught but a worm. Have you crawl on your stomach?
I predict that if you see me again, Blue Boy, it will be in Menzoberranzan.
Well,
Need I point out that this is a terrible idea? Even if she tries to flee herself, if she gets caught by the other drow, she's just gonna squeal and tell them exactly who we are
My
and
thoughts
where we
exactly.
are.
well, by the sounds of it, they know we are down here now anyway. Or at least they were expecting us. It won't be long before news of our arrival has spread. It won't be any different with her released.
There is another option. How powerful are your wizards? Can you melt stone?
I can't melt it, but I can shape it.
I think that will be enough. I have discovered a secret passage in this cavern, near where you tossed my companions. She doesn't seem to hold any emotion, negative emotion at least. Seems to come back to be amused that they're dead. An old passage, I think from previous decades or centuries. Open this passage for me, and I will wander into the depths of Underdark. If I live, I live. Is not the way of justice in your own mortar deep?
What do you say, Sanj? Could you pass wall into
I could.
into this cabin?
It will need to be tomorrow, though. I need some rest. But I can do it.
All right. Well, let's get some rest.
I will only let you live if curse your current god. Praise Leviatar.
You would rather I did this than told you all about their secrets, about their abilities?
I think if you converted to his god, you'd tell him anyway.
Go on. Curse loss and praise Leviatar.
I shall not, and I shall keep my secret as well. Take my life.
I'm looking towards the others if anyone's going to stop me.
Lucius. This drow mentions a secret. Do you not have a way of peering into the mind of another?
Yeah, but we'd have to let her stew for a couple of hours while we rested.
Look, I think there's a time and place for converting to a new religion. Perhaps this isn't the right sort of crowd for you, Aldrich. I think there's more pliable people on the surface.
Well, I might agree with you, Zevram, overall. I gotta say I'm loath to just let some, religious zealot run off. She may be telling the truth now, but
People
it's
can
flipping
change.
a coin if we just let her go.
I believe people can change, and I believe that if she is exiled to the Underdark, she will have an opportunity to reflect on her past life and perhaps find a new life.
It sounds to me, Zevram, like she's running off back to Menzo Berenzin. Do you really think she's gonna change?
Well, at the very least, she won't be a problem for us here.
Throughout all this, Drastria had given her opinion. It's notably absent.
I haven't said anything, so I don't think I'll be able to hear it, would I? They're inside a tiny hut.
You can enter the tiny hut.
I haven't been in it though. I've been on the river, on the bank, keeping watch the whole time.
True enough. Yeah.
So I don't think I would have heard a word of what was said.
Well, yeah, perhaps I can go and fetch Dressy and we can get her opinion on the matter. She probably knows a bit more about the place than we do, and I don't really know anything about what lies ahead.
That might be a good idea. Like I said, it's not necessarily something I care enough about. I just do think it would be a bad idea to let her go. If that's what you want to do, then that's fine, but...
Yeah, we'll get in touch with her. Address you via message.
I
Address
just
you,
think-
would you mind coming over here for a moment?
Fair enough.
Adrastria, but just before this scene unfolds, Adrastria, you've been keeping your eyes open, and there are some goblins wandering over on the opposite bank. They're beyond the limit of... You're beyond the limit of their dark vision, but they're not beyond the limit of yours. And it looks like they're going to come down and they've got some pots. They're going to collect some water.
I doubt they'll notice us, so I'm gonna I'll mention it offhand as soon as I get in the tiny hut. But other than that,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try and stop them.
Yeah, no worries. So, just as Sandra's coming out to pull you up, they've reached the water line and they filled their little buckets and they start splashing each other and calling each other names and then fighting a little bit. But then there's a bit of a deeper voice from behind them, and an armored hobgoblin kind of sets them into line, and they get their water and run back from the direction they've come.
Now,
Yes, Sanj. What do you want me for?
It seems we have quite the predicament here with this one. Gesturing to the drow we've captured.
What's the problem?
Well, the predicament is as such. We either let them go, and they claim to seek whatever it is they seek down in the Underdark. Though Lucius seems to believe that she'll head back to Menza Baranzan, and this, of course, will create more work and more trouble for us later. We seek your opinion, as you're obviously from these parts. You know how these people work.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt that if you let her go, she's definitely going to cause problems for us later. It might be a year from now, it might be 10 years from now. We have very long lives. She can be as patient as she needs to be. She could wait until most of us are old seniors and then choose to strike.
can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
This isn't the first time we found ourselves in a situation like this where we've been questioning whether we should let someone go or deal with them permanently. But what kind of people are we if we keep killing those we take hostage? It feels wrong.
The drow rolls her eyes.
Yeah, Lucius also rolls his eyes.
Well,
Sevram.
enslavement or death is pretty standard among our people. She expected nothing less.
This situation's a bit different, though. The reason I'm concerned here is that the Drow are clearly up to something. We already know they're kidnapping innocent Waterhavians for some kind of ritual.
But you don't know why. I can tell you.
I think...
For the price of my life. And I will tell you more besides. I will tell you things that you would not dream could happen down here. My allegiance is to Loth, not to House of Rindar.
I'm just gonna roll my eyes and sighing. Whatever. Just think about this, Zevram. I'm not saying she can't change or that she will screw us over. I'm just saying it's a possibility, a flip of a coin. A risk that we don't need to take.
I have one in my pocket.
I am willing to take it, but I understand if no one else here does.
No,
I just want it to be known that I object to killing her.
Lucius, I agree. Personally, I think if we look at the here and now, we let her go with her life. She tells us what she knows. It's information that we can use in our approach to this Skullport.
This secret is not about Skullport. It is about something even closer.
Regardless, whatever it might be, it's information that we wouldn't have otherwise. Killing her, we don't get it. Letting her go, we do. And if she's a problem later, then so be it. That's where I sit with it.
My opinion is that I don't care if she lives or dies, but I suppose not letting her go would make me a bit of a hypocrite. Seeing as I want to... And I just stop talking and hold my tongue. I don't go any further.
a vote then?
Alright, what's the decision? Do we put it to a vote? Does someone take the initiative? Do we rest on it a little further?
I'm just gonna start flicking through my spell book and abstain.
Alright.
Well, all those in favor of letting her go and getting some more information out of her, say aye.
Alright.
Like hesitate for like a full 10 seconds and then slowly raise my hand.
All right, that's 3 ayes. Those who object?
I raise my flail and kind of give a smug look at her.
She flinches as if she's waiting for you to strike.
Well, and Lucius is, well, stuck in his book as always. I think the ayes have it then.
Tell us what you know. We have voted on your life, and you will keep it.
It is a beautiful thing, she says, looking up to, the sky, to the cabin roof. It is a beautiful thing and a generous thing. It is a gift. There are too many people, and there are not enough faith in this world. By taking the people that you do not want, your stragglers and street folk, we are giving them to Loth, and she is sending her children to give them babies. When the babies grow, they burst forward from her belly. Spiders.
I see.
Have you noticed Undermountain is filling up with spiders? It is a beautiful demonstration of faith as we use the people as the perfect bank for this seed of love.
So you're using the captives that you're bringing here to create or breed spiders?
Yes.
It sounds
So
as though they
many-
are hosts.
Yes, that's right. They are honored hosts. Temples. Each person a temple to Loth.
Well, if I wasn't feeling sick already, I am now.
Agreed.
Beautiful.
After hearing her get excited about all of that, Zevram, you still of the same opinion as before?
It's life. Life feeds on life.
But to what end? To what end are you doing this?
The beautification of There is more. There is another secret. I told you I will tell you all. I do not hold it back from you. You think you have enough already, but I give you more, and you don't ask. There is a gateway to the abyss, to the 66th layer, Loth's own home, a gateway to the home of Loth, right here in Sargath, right here. You know, she looks at Zevram, when a male is ready to prove himself worthy, he is sent on a journey. He enters into the abyss, in through a rift in the world, and he finds himself in the demon web pits with Loth herself, and she tests him She tests his love, his faith. She tests that he knows what it means to be a man. And if he passes, he can serve. And if he fails, he becomes the Drider. Right here in Sargal, we have a portal to the abyss.
Right, well, I suppose that's good information to have. Can we please try and get some rest now, and you can show us this passage of yours in the morning, and we'll let you go.
She goes into a meditation.
You still want to...
voted
Lucius just shakes
on
his
it.
head.
We keep our
Lucius,
word.
yeah, you abstained from voting. If you wanted to have a say, you should have said something when we were voting.
Oh, I'm not going against your word. I'm just... shakes his head again. Very obviously judging the lot of you.
Nothing new there. But yes, let us rest.
I'm going to by the hair and just throw her corner here behind.
She looks around for an escape, but there is none, and settles herself back in. Oh, wrong drow, long. Oh, there it is. It's apparently she can pass.
Apparently.
So barring any complications, do we get our long rest?
You do, but there are complications. They are goblins. They don't hassle you particularly, but they're pretty prevalent. You're on the edge of goblin territory quite clearly. You never did
On
find that
the,
secret treasure. Anyway.
No, we
The
didn't.
goblins, are they on the other side of the river, or do they come over to this one?
They don't come over this side, no. But they do fish. They go fishing for a while with their little nets and their spears. So they're over there for about an hour at one stage. They've never once become aware of your presence.
So if when the morning comes, I guess we take her out into the cave here and get us to show where Sanj needs to cast a spell.
Yeah. Alright, so she takes you down to where the corpses are and points towards the wall. See how it is very smooth there? It looks like magic to me.
I see it.
That's insights.
And is it obviously different to other sections of the same wall?
Yeah, it's not it's still the same stone, but not. It's worked rather than natural. Not polished, but just. It's quite. It looks a lot like the way what you created. Because magic creates fairly perfect walls, but nothing
sure.
visually special.
All right.
And
Stand
now
back.
is the moment when you betray me.
No.
Is that so?
No, we will not betray you here. We are not like you, Drow. We do keep our word from time to time. I just asked that...
If that's your line of thought, Zavram, I'll put it out there. I'm perfectly willing to, right now.
No. Please, we've given her our word. Let's keep to it.
So, I stand at shoulder width apart with my feet and both of my hands gently placed on the wall in front of me, and close my eyes and cast Pass Wall.
It's no more than 5 or 6 feet thick.
Oh, shit.
Very good.
Before you go, Meridian, when you find yourself wandering the Underdark and thinking back on your life, I hope you remember that it was a servant of Ilistri that gave you this second chance at life.
That is not what I will remember. I will remember that it was someone from House Tekken Jewess. She steps into the gap.
I will throw a ration after her.
Better that you throw a dagger.
Do I have a dagger?
No, do not give the drow assassin a weapon.
I don't have a dagger. I have a spectral shovel.
She
Might be a
sniffs-
little too comical to throw that.
She sniffs the ration and feeds it to a bat. And goes into the tunnel.
Damn, fucking automatic 20 on that animal handling for the bat. Alright, well, yeah. Watch her disappear off into the distance.
I hope it's a dead end and she starves to death.
All right. Well, that was interesting. I will be honest. I feel good. I feel good knowing that we were able to get more out of her. Let her
I
go
don't
about her
know.
business.
I am conflicted.
The thing about a second chance, I suppose, is that if she is to cross us again, our retribution will be swifter than it was today. That is my word.
What
Oh,
if she
yes,
succeeds in crossing us the second time? What
Well,
if she lands a crossbow bolt in your thigh and drow poison takes hold, and you fall unconscious, and the next thing you know, you wake up naked in a cell?
With
Wouldn't
spiders bursting out of your chest.
Yeah.
wouldn't be the worst weekend I've had.
I think yes. That's a bridge I'll cross when I get to it, if it ever happens. But until then. So, do we continue to follow the river?
Oh, yes. Well, without a raft, we're going to have to come up with something else here. I can let you all swim freely in the water if you're willing to take a dip.
I thrive in waters, Devram.
Yeah, the water doesn't bother me.
What's our plan upon reaching Skullport? We already know we're very close. What are we going to do?
I plan to seek out a man named Kaladne.
And who is this Kaladne?
Someone who has information about my family.
Right. Okay. Well, I suppose the plan once we get there is we should, at the very least, try and establish some sort of lodging, base of operations, something like that. A safe place that we can call our own for the time being. I don't see us returning to the surface anytime soon.
Well, there's
Perhaps
a
it would be-
multitude of ruined buildings to choose from.
Perhaps it would be prudent to disguise ourselves before we enter it as well.
Disguise.
Well, if not, at least cover our faces so we're not as easily recognizable. You heard Meriden. There might be some drow that are expecting us.
Well, I don't know if we all have the ability to disguise ourselves.
I can. You needn't worry about me. I'm more than capable of handling something like that.
I mean, I'll just keep the hood of my cloak up and wear like a bandana or something across the bottom half of my face. Looks suspicious as fuck, but I mean, it's Undermountain.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
look
you wouldn't stand
suspicious,
out.
you'd fit right in.
So I will cast Disguise Self. Well, how far away are we from Skullport, I guess?
Less than a mile.
Very close
Okay.
now.
Alright, can I just say that I'll disguise before we enter the outskirts?
Yeah, like assuming that you're not set upon by, say, forward scouts or some sort of
Yeah.
hidden ropers or something like that.
God damn it, hidden ropers.
Yeah.
Is there any other kind?
Would anyone like a ride downstream?
Are you propositioning?
I'm offering a seat on my back. Yes.
No, I think I'm good. I can swim by myself.
I could cast Water Walk on us.
Oh, that would be handy.
Okay, just give me 10 minutes.
Very well.
We've been here 8 hours. I think we can spare 10 minutes.
But can you? Because it seems that there are goblins approaching.
Are they crossing the river this time?
Adrastia can see them coming, and now that you concentrate, maybe you can hear them. They're still only approaching from the same avenue, but if they follow the actions that they have done 2 or 3 times already, then they'll come down to the water's edge for something.
Yeah, let's retreat a little bit into this cave and let them collect their water. There's no need to cause a scene. No need to draw attention to ourselves.
Very well.
No, yeah, Sanj, you're lit up like a torch rather than a dark vision.
What was that from?
Because he rebrought the his token in after being a shark,
Ah,
and his default
okay.
token is set to having a torch because he doesn't have natural dark vision. All right, so sorry, these goblins. What do we do about it?
I think we were just retreating back into the cave a ways and then getting Aldrich to cast his ritual spell.
Excellent. And while you're doing that, is anyone keeping an eye on the goblins?
Yeah, I should be able to see him from here.
You should be able to. So make a stealth roll, Adrastia.
I'm also using hide in plain sight, so they suffer a -10 on checks to detect me.
Oh, that helps. That makes a big difference. With 13, they'd probably spot you. But you see them come down to the water's edge. There's about 5 of them, and they're doing different things, checking crab pots, laying crab pots, or something like that. And so they come down to lay their crab thing, and they're playing around, and then a goblin turns up, a rather heavily armed goblin, and he sort of kicks them into line, and then he looks over at where the and he starts looking at the ground and following the trail of the bodies that you dragged towards the water, or the footsteps that you made, and He looks over to the edge. And then you can hear him perking up his ears. Do you do anything about this, Adrastia?
No, I'm confident in a 23 stealth.
He sends the
Effectively,
goblins.
23 stealth.
Sends the goblins across the river. They don't wanna. He doesn't fucking care. He sends them across the river. One of them drowns, but 3 of them make it, and one of them remains behind. There's a couple of goblins now over on this side of the river.
Well, there's 3 goblins. I got 3 shots. Maybe I can kill all 3 in one round. Before they can even yelp in surprise.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, if they keep coming this way, they're gonna notice the others at least, if not me.
It's inevitable, you know. In fact, they can already maybe hear the chanting. Maybe? They're looking at each other. Do you hear something?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do an alpha strike and start shooting before they have the chance to detect us.
Alright.
So how does a surprise round work?
Well, everyone who wants to participate, which is probably everyone except for the party, goblins, the hobgoblin, and you, roll for initiative. It'll be they're surprised for the first round. Goblin. There he is.
Good thing too. That's an awful initiative roll. A 3 and then another 3.
Alright, so the goblins are looking around, trying to work out what that sound is. Looking at the footprints, looking for clues. You're not exactly sure what they've been sent over for, but they're doing their job. The hobgoblin's watching them. He has his blade drawn, and he's a bit suspicious, but he doesn't actually suspect anything yet. Sanj, you can see that Adrastia is suddenly raises her. Well, she already got her crossbow cocked, but she's about to fire.
Yeah. So does the surprise round take place prior to the initiative order, or are we going based on the initiative rolls?
It goes through the initiative, but only people who aren't surprised get to act. And I'm pretty sure that all you guys are probably surprised as well. Maybe, I don't know. But so the ritual would have been going on over here, somewhere out of sight. I wasn't going to be necessary to put down tokens, but I've chosen to anyway. Yeah, you're not caught by surprise though, neither is the hobgoblin. Neither of you necessarily anticipate violence. But you can see Adrastia is getting ready for combat for reasons that you may not understand. What do you do about it?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try and position myself like pressed up against this sort of the wall here.
You immediately see 3 goblins. They're not trying to hide. They've just come up on the beach. They're dripping wet.
And I'll pull out my cantrip wand and point it at one of the goblins, and I'm going to wait for Adrastia to start firing.
Yeah, excellent.
So I'll hold my action.
That's cool.
Alright, so as I raise my bow, let's check the distance on this boy over here, 70.
He's dodging for the record since he's not taking action.
My reasoning being that I don't want any of them running for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to kill their leader in one go, because that will demoralize them as well.
Cool.
Let's check how far away he is. He's a bit too far for Hunter's Mark. But I'm about to reveal myself anyway, so I just step forward a little bit.
The goblins are terrified.
To get just within range to cast Hunter's Mark on him.
The row!
And then first shot.
He has, I think, splint mail or something. It's pretty good armor. Chainmail.
Okay, so 15 on the first one.
Bam. 15 onto the hobgoblin. Ends his life. Oh, gobble! He reaches for his horn that is at his belt, and he grabs it and puts it to his lips, but only blood gargles out of it.
And the second shot goes for the other goblin that's on the far bank.
Bam. Slain instantly. He's not using his shield because he wasn't expecting combat.
And then the third bolt, just the goblin closest to me.
Tries to dive in the water. And the frost bolt strikes the next one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just next to him.
He freezes in place. And one goblin remains. Devram, you're only just kind of becoming aware of what's going on. You poke your head round the corner, and there are goblins dying everywhere. There's one left. It's on the beach. It looks kind of surprised. It's wearing its undies and it's dripping wet.
Okay.
Has a spear.
How audible has Vicious Mockery been in the past?
Probably about as audible as saying a your mother joke. A little bit louder.
That hobgoblin on the other side, hearing, "Your mama's so fat she don't fit in the internet."
That's it. You want to get people's attention, so yeah, raise your.
I feel like if I rush forward, I'm gonna probably give ourselves away. So I'm just going to cast Dissonant Whispers on it, see if I can just get it to die from an aneurysm.
All right.
I'll do it at 3rd level just to be sure.
Just to be sure. I'm messing around. That is one dead goblin, and its head explodes. Well, that was a nicely averted discovery.
Oh, I must say our efficiency pleases me.
Yeah, we took them all out and they didn't manage to barely make a peep.
Excellent shooting, as usual.
Thank you.
I resume my position next to Aldrich as I wait for him to cast the spell.
I'll go and I'll ignore all the regular goblins, but I'll check see if the leader, the hobgoblin, had anything of note on him.
He had a really nice war horn, so it's a sort of horn that it would be even louder than the thunder, the toll the deads that we've thus far rung. Reverberate throughout half the level of Saga. He also has some identifying marks, which you, with your local knowledge history, might recognise. Make a history check.
Hopefully we can get above 10 this time.
With a bit of luck. That's good.
That's better.
So it reveals it gives you quite a bit pertinent, because it's the sort of thing that you'd want to know since it's right outside the front of Skullport. This is this goblin belongs to the Legion of Azrock. Azrock was the son of a hobgoblin warlord, but he was born blind. However, through the power of prayer or heroicness or something, he is able to see even though he has sight. He's got like milky eyes, and yet Azrock sees all. And so this kind of like divine sight, this embodiment of goblin kind has been a prominent figure within Sargauth for decades. He's been the king of the goblins for as long as it matters. He's been losing his grip recently. Notably, the Drow have taken off a huge chunk of the Sargauth level, and his own son has walked out on him and gone and like started a new clan or joined someone else, something. Whatever the case, this old hobgoblin blind warlord is finally losing his grip on power. And this hobgoblin you killed and his servants belong to the Legion of Azroth.
See. I guess I relay that little bit of trivia to the rest of the party. Local trivia.
Well, at least they're dying off, right? So we don't need to worry about them.
Yeah.
Aldrich's spell is complete.
Just before we bounce along the water, are there any other similar sort of walls as to this one, like in this kind of neck of the cavern here? Like particularly along these kind of areas?
Good question. And given the amount of time you've got to inspect it, you satisfy yourself that there are no such paths.
All right. Time for a leisurely stroll down the rapids.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, it should be as simple as just left foot, right foot, right? I don't think I've done this before. This is quite exciting.
Huh.
I imagine it's like walking on uneven ground.
Yeah. Like a wobbling jelly floor, kind of like a jumping car, but less predictable.
I've always pictured it as like standing on like an uneven escalator kind of thing. Because you got to keep in mind the water's moving. It's running water, so it's moving under your feet.
Yeah, like an ever-moving carpet.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna lie down and let it take me.
It gives you a mild massage on the.
We should have brought surfboards.
Yeah.
I will exclude myself from the spell, by the way, and I will hide under the water so that I will not be seen with everyone else when heading in.
Yeah, sure. You'll be dripping wet, but that's okay too.
Yeah, being able to walk on water is very convenient.
Makes you a very obvious target.
I wonder how it works if I wish to dive down with this spell going. Is it a matter of thought? I'm not sure. And then climbing back out? That's thoughts for another day, I think.
There was a Waterdeep campaign not long ago about watching where you dive in shallow water on the beach.
How fortunate. Adrastia and perhaps other companions. You see up ahead a raft that looks like it's made out of kind of underdark fungi. That raft seems to have taken considerable amounts of damage, as if it was driven from below by some horned creature.
And where's the cat?
There is no sign of any cat, but there is some cat hair.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh god, Ariel got eaten.
I should hope not.
You reach a set of like rapids where the boat would be of no further use, and begin to travel along deeper along the Sargath River. Now you travel for perhaps 15 minutes, and after a journey of about that length, you begin to hear sounds. I'm going to have to reload. Oh no, I might not have to. I'll try. I'll have to reload the page or not. But you hear the sounds of activity coming on up ahead. Laughter, arguments, what might be training, combat, or even actual battles. You also hear the great grinding sounds of massive chains and wheels turning, things being raised and lowered, ropes and things being dragged up or down shelves of walls of rock. And also, you see light. There's a lot of fire up ahead. Not out of control fire, but it seems like there are several signal fires. And Adraxia, you know just about right.
I'll take this moment to disguise myself. I'm gonna look like a drow female with like a head done up in a bun, but I'm also going to make it seem as though my tongue has been cut out. If that's possible, I don't know how precise I can make this illusion.
Yeah, sure. No, that's fine. You're a powerful wizard. Doesn't seem like it'd be something beyond your capabilities.
Cool.
Interesting disguise. What exactly are you trying to go for?
Well, I figure I can look like a drow, but I can't sound like one. Hence the tongue.
Yes. If you were gonna go that route, I would have suggested you make yourself male.
They're frowned upon down here, aren't they? Forgive my ignorance, so I'm still trying to get my head around how it works.
They're lesser, for sure.
Well, I'm going to disguise myself as a hobgoblin. Using my hat of disguise, I'll give it a bit of a turn on my head, and I will disguise myself as a hobgoblin with a wide-brimmed fedora with a feather in it.
Really? Positively Waterdavian. You are the essence of.
I will take out my Azura, hold it by the hilt like a cane, and then turn it into a cane, and then I will flourish up my clothes to look like a trench coat with a fur collar.
It's a good look, Zevram.
You are pimping.
I'm just gonna keep the hood up on the cloak of the manta ray and then tie a rag like a bandana covering my nose and below.
You look much more like one of the regular thugs from the storybooks that you remember about Skullport.
What about Aldrich?
Not doing anything. I'm just gonna waltz on in with my crown on my head and be pretty.
Suppose a Leviathan like you wouldn't be out of place in somewhere like this.
The river seems to get quite deep at this point. It's been flowing quite fast recently, but you're able to walk along the bank as often as not. But here it gets deep, as much as 18 or 20 feet deep, and it remains relatively fast. Those of you who have an instinct for nature might, or those of you who've been here before, will know that it opens up into a great cavern, like a lake, and within that lake there is an island, Skull Island, and Skull Island is where Skullport meets the sea.
Yeah, we've pretty much arrived.
So it's deep here at this point. Does that inconvenience anyone? Not really, right?
No.
Yeah, I think we're all walking along the surface.
Alright. And I shall transport us to another map. I won't restrict movement. I don't think it's necessary. Alright. Okay. So, yeah, the water is deep and dark here, and there are some relatively large entities swimming around below you. Lizards and snakes and fish, of course. But no sign of any sharks. Just large brim. So here we are in a broad sector of the lake that opens up, and there's lots of fires going on up ahead. There's lots of lamps lit. I'm not sure how much you can see. But I should give you a bit of a disclaimer before we go any further. Skullport doesn't run like Undermountain, and it shouldn't. I think a lot of DMs would try to run it the same because it's built the same, but it shouldn't be that way. It has to be mostly done theatre of the mind. So what you see before you are a number of but however, I can't reveal the dynamic lighting too early. I will eventually, but not too early. So what you see before you is a massive island, and it's fortified, heavily fortified. It's got some great walls. The walls have taken damage over time, but they've been mostly rebuilt. Several docks, most of which are empty. There's very few ships here. I won't yet go on to explain how ships get over, the mechanisms, any of that. We can talk about that later, because what takes your notice immediately is the ballistae, the flame cannons. This place is fortified. There must be 20 ballistas lining the walls of this building. There must be half as many flame cannons as well, which do what they sound like they do. There are regimented guards of bugbears. There are entire units of Duerga, and there are people that look a lot like what Lucius has chosen to look like right now. Thugs with bandanas and scimitars and swagging around as if they own the place. There's a fair amount of light. The humans need it. This place looks like a fortified nightmare, and at the top of it, in the center, near one of the guard towers or officer barracks or something, is a wyvern, and it seems to be surveying its city.
Looks like they beefed up the defenses since I last saw this place.
From what we can see with the illumination, does it look like there might be somewhere we can skirt along the walls, or perhaps a less lit area where we might sneak in?
If you're stuck to the walls, you might be lucky, but it's walking on water. It'd be easier for them to see you than you can see them, you know? I guess it really comes down to the limits of their dark vision.
Okay. I guess, what do you guys want to do? Do we want to try and just be quiet and skirt along the walls and find an entrance, or dive down, maybe? Try and get closer?
I think we should try and approach in the most natural way possible. To swim and then emerge would be suspect, I think. Though, mind you, here we are standing on, flowing water. So,
Are you suggesting we just walk towards the defenses as if it's totally normal and there's no problem with that?
Well, I'm again not sure how this play. Is there a drow presence here? Like, would we be welcome? Unwelcome? Do we try to blend in with these people? What's the go?
A DC 10 history check will tell anyone that Skullport has a long history of being even more cosmopolitan than Waterdeep. You know, everyone's welcome in Waterdeep. Everyone's actually welcome in Skullport.
I was gonna say, we've actually already received this answer in character. Remember that the drow told us about how there's Durgar, there's drow, but she also said there's a lot of smaller independent groups, merchants and stuff that have taken hold.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, we should just be able to walk forward.
Yeah, my only qualm is that our manner of approach is suspect. Right? So not everyone comes to Skullport via the water, like walking on it. They come in a ship or they come through the caves, right?
Are we able to create some sort of an illusion of a raft below us? I unfortunately don't have a spell like that.
Pedal
prepared.
powered to mask our walking.
Walking on water could be a good way of sending a message. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if
Okay,
newcomers frequently get attacked and mugged when entering
Alright.
the city.
I begin my pimp swagger towards the fortress.
Hobgoblin pimp
Oh,
swagger.
That's a hoe goblin, thank you.
Just imagine
Hobgoblin.
the Bee Gees playing as we enter.
Indeed. I'm going to delete a couple of the dynamic lighting walls to give you a... I'm not sure if you will be able to see it, but they're Dwerger, so they don't need to, really see. But as you begin to approach, when I know you're not there yet, but when you do reach the point, in fact, actually before we get there, you will see that there's a small cove to the south that you'll come across, and you hear a splash as if some humanoid-sized creature just leapt off the island and into the water. Splash! But so far you haven't been challenged by the Dwerger or anything.
Now's probably not the time to mention that I have a fear of dark depths. A splash in the water has me swaggering at a faster pace.
That's funny.
Alright, so you avoid that area and continue on your way towards the docks of Skull Island. And you reach a point at which the Dwerger become aware of you, and they immediately call, "Halt! You shall go no further! We have ballista and flame cannons! We will open fire as you..."
I
Better start.
finger guns towards Adrastia.
Let's see. Can I speak Dwarven?
You can. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can speak Dwarven, but if you... Are you able to see any of that? If not, you're able to move forward until you can.
Yeah, I can see the dwarves and their ballista from here.
Yeah, cool.
Not sure if they'd know me or not. I've lived here for a very long time, but I haven't been there in recent years, so I'm not sure if it would work.
State your business. What have you come to Skullport for? Who are you? What is your party? Let me see if you... I think you can see it. I'll just look through Sanja's eyes briefly. Yeah, Sanj and everyone else. Up there on the docks, there's you probably can't see in the darkness, but there's a kind of, you're about to enter a bay, a harbour of sorts. And about 200 feet along that harbour, there is a dock. On that dock, there are 3 skulls, which are burning with bright fire, green, red, and purple, and they seem to be hovering around, having a conversation.
Do I recognize these as familiars?
You make a history or arcana check?
Yeah, sure.
I sort of say out the corner of my mouth, like, Adrastia, say something.
They are the famous rulers of Skullport. With a great arcana check like that, this is kind of interesting. In the days when this place was called Sargouth, before it was Skullport, it was called Sargouth because they were the Sargouth Enclave. They were Netherese. The Netherese are powerful magicians, most powerful human magicians that ever lived. They had a little enclave here in Sargouth, and when Karsus died, he cast his spell and stole all the magic in the world. the magical sphere that was holding Sargouth together failed. It collapsed, but it didn't fail entirely. It still managed to get off enough power to save the Netherese, the wizards who, it had been built to protect. But that didn't quite work either. It killed them perpetually and then raised them from the dead, and they've been here ever since. So what you're looking at on the dock there, these 3 burning skulls made of fire, are actually like prototype liches or something. They're the remnants of ancient Netherese spellcasters who were trapped here in the chaos of Carsus's folly.
Right. Well, Lucius, it's a good thing that you've studied Netherese things.
Yeah, study. Don't look at me for this. Drasty, Zephyr, this is your business.
Yeah. Do you say
I can't
something?
remember. I can't remember how I usually get into Skullport because I haven't. As a player, I've obviously never been here.
In previous times, there wasn't this. The Xanathar was very cool. He kind of ran an open ship. He would basically, everyone knew he didn't fuck with the Xanathar Guild, and just, they kind of, but they were pretty fair about it, apart from the fact that they were slavers and murderers and assassins. Like the Yakuza or the Mafia, you played by their rules and you get hurt. This Duergar army, this is new.
Well, I guess I'll go out on a limb and call out my name and see if claim that I'm a resident and see if that works.
A resident? You say that you are a resident? Then Sundes will know you, if you know him, if you have been here long enough. We will call for Sundes, and he shall determine if you are welcome here or not. Stay where you are.
Hey man, before you go, I'm looking for some company. You got any whores in town that might be looking to get wet?
Yes, inside the main town, you will find an establishment. He gives you its name, which I'm just finding at the moment, and he promises that you will find plenty of what you're looking for there. He's pretty disgusted, though.
Great.
Humans
While you get your friend, I'm gonna go wait at that place. And I'll start striding forward.
I don't know.
If you go any further, we will open fire.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to get my, stick wet.
Then you can wait for Sundes.
Well, I don't want him.
Make a persuasion roll at disadvantage.
Oh, jeez, okay.
What did you get?
17.
A 17, not bad. Very well. You may come forward, but you must meet Sundes on the docks instead. None shall permit to enter without authority.
All right, man. No worries. And I swagger forward. I think I'm heading in the right direction.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, yeah. I haven't panned left, of course.
Yeah, as we pass through this passage, take a look at those things that were looking over us this whole time. Lots
You can hear them.
ballista.
Yeah, they're everywhere. You can hear the raucous roar of people speaking the goblin tongue and common and undercommon and dwarven. There's gruff voices, almost all of them male. All right, when you reach the dock, stay where you are. Virval shall, Sundesk shall know what to do. And
Damn, he sounds like he does.
sounds like he does. And so, do you do as he asks and wait on the edge of the docks until someone arrives?
I suppose that depends. Do I know who he's talking about?
Make a history check.
Are these skulls like fixated on us?
They actually are. Adrastia, you know no Zundes, but you do know a Sun Death. And Sun Death was one of the Xanath champions. He was, I guess, a sort of lieutenant back in those days, but if he has supreme authority over Skull Island, then he's risen pretty far indeed since you last saw him.
Well, in that case,
yeah.
I was gonna say I've at least heard of him then.
You have at least heard of him. A champion of, like a warrior. Half ogre he is. Half ogre and half human. Zebram, you're absolutely right. The skulls are quite intrigued by your presence, though, but they don't seem to think that you're worthy of their time. And so they look towards you and they seem to gossip about you, but that's all they're doing is basically gossiping about you in their own language, Thoros.
When I hear skulls gossiping, all I can think of is the fucking Martians from Mars Attacks. Like,
hang on. Their language they're using, is it the Netherese language?
It is the ancient dead Netherese language of Thoros. Or Loros.
Now, do you remember that thing you allowed me to do when creating the character at level 1 and everyone was like, that'll never come into play because that's a dead language?
Dead language.
I happen to know Netherese.
They are discussing the upcoming war with the Faerun.
Oh god, they're stupid.
They got some pretty complex theories, but they may be out of touch.
I mean,
I'm gonna listen.
If anyone's gonna fight the Faerun, it's the Netherese, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna listen in anyway because I've never actually heard anyone speaking this language. I've just studied it myself.
Yeah. They make an.
What was that you cut out there?
Make an insight check.
I'm gonna use my inspiration on that.
All right.
Just because I feel like this is the only time. Oh my god!
All right. It seems that they have some great plan with which to dethrone Halasta. That's what you infer from their code talk.
My interest is actually caught.
So, looking beyond the skeletons, who is that we see against the wall?
Let me have a look. Let's zoom down and see that. That's a Zentarum member. Yeah, member of the Zentarum. They've diving dragon symbol. He looks towards Sanj. You can see each other in the glowing light of the flame skulls. And he gives a little salute, just a sort of little tired salute.
I've disguised myself.
Oh, you're disguised? Good call,
right.
good call.
Yeah.
And most of you are disguised, actually, aren't you?
Yeah.
Except for Aldrich.
I'll leave a little.
He would give it to Aldrich. He gives Aldrich a bit of a salute. It's a casual one.
Well, I guess I look around. Are we gonna just wait here? Who is this Sundeath? Do you know Sundeath?
Yeah, he was a champion of the Xanathar. Is that right? I think that's what he said.
Oh, yeah, the Xanathar Guild. Yeah, that's right.
We've been instructed to wait. We should just do that.
All right,
Yeah, unless
fine.
you feel like taking on an entire city by ourselves.
No. So I guess we'll wait patiently.
Soon enough, you see a wyvern take to wing from that large building, and as it comes closer into focus, you realise that it is being ridden by a man 9 feet tall with a spear even longer than he is. And the wyvern screams at you, its voice penetrating through the cavern before coming to hover atop a set of stairs. Who are you and what are you doing here? A huge, tall, scarred, sinister warrior is queries of you.
I'm guessing you're son Death, right?
I am Son Death.
As for what I'm doing here, I live here. Maybe you remember me, maybe you don't, but my organization and I did a lot of trading with the Xanathar back in the day.
Why have you returned? And why have you brought these legions with you?
God. I'm not sure what to say.
We're just traveling companions of our friend Adrastia here. We're just looking for a good time, and we heard that Skullport could show it to us.
You are right.
I step forward and I raise my holy symbol.
My lord, he says, and dismounts and bows.
And says,
Wow.
I am merely just looking to open up trade with slaves with the Leviatar Temple and seeing if there's good prospects in this area.
Yes, my lord. And you look upon this individual. This is one of the members of your flock. He converted fairly recently. He was not in the Leviathan Temple a year ago, even 9 months ago. But he has proven to be a very useful facilitator within your religion, and his conversion seems quite genuine. The city is at your disposal, my lord.
Yes, see that my companions get the best accommodations while we're here.
Would that I could, my lord. I shall maintain my vigil here, and your companions will have to make do with what Skullport has to offer.
Very well. Would you like a blessing?
He smiles and nods.
And kneel then.
He kneels lower.
Leviatar, heal her. And I smack him down hard with the flail.
He's such a big guy. He could take brutality like this for a long time.
You're blessed, my son.
Does he know someone everywhere we go?
It sure is convenient that, Aldrich just had to flash his symbol and, that's it. But at the same time, it's kind of worrying how his faith is creeping into every aspect of the world.
My lord, I have had a thought. Would you hear it?
Yes, speak freely.
My lord, look upon my magnificent beast. You see how much fear she inspires in the enemy. My lord, in your wanderings of Undermountain, I would ask you to bring to me the eggs of monsters, and I will raise them as my own, and we may mount your most elite warriors upon these monsters, and defend our great city together.
This in the name of Leviatar.
In the name of Leviatar, he lowers his.
Very well then, I see. I will see what I can do.
He sneers at the rest of you.
Well, time to ooze my my stick. Excuse me. I need to refresh.
So,
My dynamic thing's gone all fucky.
Oh yeah.
just to
Yeah, me
just to
too.
confirm, so we're on Skull Island. We're not in Skullport right now.
That's right. Yeah, you're in Skull Island, not in Skullport. It leads to Skullport directly. It's like I suppose you could consider the docks area of Skullport if you want. Yeah. So
Oh whoa! I've lost like all of the dynamic lighting.
yeah, I've switched it off because
Oh,
like
okay.
I just like I thought I'd just reveal to you what the map looks like. I didn't really see a problem in doing so. That's the thing. It's because it's not like Undermountain. It's treated like Undermountain. Yeah, you don't really need to wander around finding everything, but that gives you a representation of what it looks like.
Well, if you want a good idea of what the place looks like, Skull Island included, this is
Yeah.
the 3rd edition map. Mind you, there's been a lot of changes, so just completely ignore the key, because I'm assuming all of those locations have completely changed. But that's Skullport and Skull Island pre-Spell Plague.
Cool.
Like, just to show what it looks like.
And so you've now got authority to walk up that bridge, which I think is marked as from where the Skull Island leads up into the main town. And when you're ready, you'll be able to go in there. The Duergar, they don't get out of your way. You have to walk around them. The bugbears will line you up and look at your most valuable things and decide whether or not it's worth picking your pockets. But the way Sundeath's bowing to this guy, no one's going to stop you.
I reckon we can take them. There's only like 4 dozen of them.
Yeah, it'd be a fight, hey? The bugbears would run away once you killed half of them, but the Duergar probably wouldn't.
It's a pretty cool map. I
You
like
say
it.
that sarcastically, but I reckon we could take. I mean, we'd probably lose Zevram, but
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty pitched battle for sure.
Yeah. I think you'd have to flee, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Well,
think we're pretty
Whoa.
strong, but I think there's just too many of them.
That's it, yeah. And their war machines are too powerful.
So they'll let us freely go through the portcullis here?
Absolutely, yeah. Like welcome to Skullport.
Cool.
And so you're
Yeah, I
walking
guess-
along a broad bridge, heavily fortified. It would be difficult to storm this little city.
Yeah, no shit. Hey, they have like ballistae on like every possible corner of this island.
It's
Should
mad, isn't it?
Oh my god.
should we ask Sundeath anything before we wander around, or
I mean, asking him his relationship with the Drow in Skullport would be a good idea.
want me to ask?
Well, you asked whether we should ask.
Okay.
You seem to have a good relationship with him as well.
So I'm gonna ask him, what the relation with the Drow is.
The short answer is that the Drow aren't really a presence here. A guy called, or a clan called Stone Dark. There are some Duergars, and their leaders, for want of a better word, stone docks. The stone docks are like they were connected to the Xanathar's Guild. They're now connected to the Xantarum, but they're independent. They're like Duergar from the Underdark. They don't give a fuck. And it's the stone docks who have taken the initiative and gone back to their cousins and gone, hey, you know what would be great if we sent like 100 Duergar to conquer Skullport? It's like there's no one there to stop us. And they're like, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Let's do that. All right, cool. And so they've done it. It was that easy.
All right. So House Overendar. So they're gathering on level 3, but they haven't actually hit Skullport yet.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It sounds like Overendar's a bit more preoccupied with their ritual and like building up an army of spider people things. And probably protecting the gate to the demon web pits.
Yeah, so we're gonna be finishing up in a second anyway. Do you want to quickly discuss what our plan is from here?
Sure. Yeah, what is the plan?
Well, my plan is to find Kaladni, which is my contact. I have no idea where to really begin, so finding someone who knows him or might be able to find him would be my objective. I don't know what the rest of you want to do though, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy giving you a hand with that, like doing what I can.
So we'll help Zevram find his guy. I mean, we'll scope out the situation of what's happening here in Skullport. I do want to put a permanent end to whatever House Overendar's planning with this kidnapping Waterhavians thing.
Mm.
So I mean, that
sounds
could
like
mean
we'll have to go back out to the saga level. Yeah.
I'm thinking we can use Skullport as a base for a time being. We won't go back up into the city for a while. We'll use Skullport as a base for a time being, and we'll
the same, yeah.
in and out of level 3 to fight the Drow, deal with them.
What did we do with Xanathar's lair? We didn't destroy it, did we? It just
the watch came in.
Oh, the watch.
You blew it up.
Yeah,
so you did a
okay.
well, you did a bit, didn't you? Did you do a bit?
I believe
to, but we never
You
got
didn't have
around
to.
it.
Yeah, we were going to, but we encountered the Xanathar, so we
Killed him
fought
instead.
him, and
you're right, yeah.
after we killed him, to make sure they didn't keep using it, we invited the watch in, and the city watch came and raided the place.
Yeah, so we don't really know what state that lair is in, or whether we can even get to it again, right? But I'm thinking like if we can maybe find a way to quickly traverse from here to the surface and back, that would be another objective of ours.
Yeah. You mean
Well,
back to Waterdeep?
Yeah, because in the
case we needed
Xanathar's
to.
lair, in the Xanathar's lair, did you join us before or after we killed the Xanathar? I think you were here for that, weren't you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was there for that. Yeah, I was there for the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you know how, in the sewers, there's that keystone thing.
Yeah, I still have,
yeah,
the Tiger Gate, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so,
yeah.
if we can find the way into his old lair from Skullport, we can use the gate and then back and forwards, and we can use the lair ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure. That's on the cards for next week then, right? We can try and find Zevram's contact, see if there's a way into the Xanathar's old lair, and then set up a sort of mini base thing.
God, I wish we had considered that during the downtime, because that would have been the perfect location for the lab.
The lair.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. You've got villains at your doorstep. That's not exactly.
Plus, it's in the side of. It's on like a cliff face, isn't it? That's lit as far as I'm concerned. It's awesome.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah. No,
just
the current
ground.
spot's good,
Yeah.
but the Xanathar's lair, I think, would have been a better spot if we'd spent
Maybe more
the downtime
practical.
reinforcing it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't exactly know what the state of the lair is right now, whether new people have moved in or whether we can even get to it. So, but we'll try and find that out next week.
Yeah. Cool. That sounds good.
All right. So yeah, we'll explore Skullport a bit. We'll find out the state of the lair, and then we'll wage war upon House Ovrandar.
Maybe have a bit of a montage next week for Mark as he washes up on the shore of Skullport, maybe, and has a little adventure.
All right, guys, I have to bounce. Thanks for the game today. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you there soon, huh?